drip down the side of me, quick jump out for you, let it get inside of me. I tell them where to put it, never tell them where I'm about to be. I'm run down on the bar, I have a nigga running me. Talk your shit, bite your lip, ask for a call while you ride that dick. Why you really ain't never got him fucking for a thing. You already made his mind up for a game. Now get your boots, hang your coat, put this wet ass pussy. He bought a phone just for pictures of this wet ass pussy. Pay my tuition just to kiss me on this wet ass pussy. Now make it rain if you wanna see some wet ass pussy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WAP Radio. I'm James Boyd. Here with me, I have Rich Lotta. You like the new theme for the show?
Oh man, I didn't know it was the new theme. I thought this was just an audio meme. Apparently,
I mean it can be both. No, you want to stick with.
Yeah, I gotta do. I gotta do shameless self promotion. On this here show. But you sent that to the group chat, and I died laughing because I always had thoughts of putting drums behind Walter's theme. I just never did it, and then that shit came across and hollering.
Dude, it was like whoever thought of this, and then also thought in the context of Walter, like the idea of Walter WAP is the funniest, it's the funniest shit to me. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not familiar, this is One Nation Radio. Yeah, man, lots of wrestling. It's always lots of fucking wrestling. Richard just froze. I'm sick of this shit. This is the second time he's froze his computer.
Oh no.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
I'm back.
He's back. He's back. For now.
We'll see. We'll see how it holds up. We've been getting some technical difficulties here, but
yeah.
I think they are working against us.
They. Oh, the man or just they?
They.
Okay.
They don't want us to win.
Okay. Well, that's true. They never want us to win. Oh man. Okay. So lots of wrestling like usual. We're gonna start with the WWE pay-per-view from last night. I thought
before we do that, let's, the Lakers are back in the finals.
Okay. Let's talk about that. Sure. Lakers are back in the finals. How many games of the Lakers in the playoffs have you watched?
Okay, I have watched at least 3 of them that we lost.
So that means you watch every so they went 12-3 in the playoffs, and you watched every time they lost.
And I watched one game that they won.
Okay, which game was that?
I think it was Game 4 of the Nugget series.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Yeah. They made the finals.
There's been this weird thing that's been happening like all year with the Lakers with me, to where I watch and we lose from opening night to Christmas Day to a couple games in between. We would just lose at the end and look like and give me all the reason to be like, what the fuck is going on here? And then when I miss the game or whatever, they just beating the hell out of people. But when the chief comes to watch, they want to show their ass.
You are the High Laker Chief, Rich Lotta?
No, the tribal chief of the Lakers.
The tribal chief. Jesus Christ. Oh man. Yeah, man. Like Lakers are
very,
back.
very, very weird. Like very, very weird because this team is made up of just people. I would have never. And The Rock means never been co-signed that with, kick it with, root for, cheered on, nothing. So I'm just like, all right, room for the laundry here. Let's just, let's get another one so we get to 17. I was kind of, I wish we could have got the Celtics for it. That's kind of what I was hoping for. But the Heat will do. The Heat will do.
The Heat will do. Well, the Heat definitely does for me. I've been rooting for this shit since what? Like months and months. Like I thought about before the bubble probably. I was thinking like, the Lakers, the Heat, the Clippers, they all have the elements in play to more or less stop Giannis from just getting to the paint at will. And what happens to their offense after that? LeBron, like one of the last games of the season before the pandemic hit, it was the Lakers and Rondo basically, or LeBron and Rondo pretty much just stopping Giannis from being super effective when they beat the Bucks. We saw it last year in the playoffs where Kawhi basically said, "Nah, I'm not having this shit with Giannis." And there was always Bam at play for the Heat. And it was just a matter of, someone like a Duncan Robinson, someone like a Tyler Hero, maybe, but after that, they're probably a piece short from beating anybody else like or really the Celtics was really it. It was really, when you think about it, or actually I'll take it back, the Raptors as well. It was like, those are the 4 top teams in the East. Miami can get one team because of a matchup, in my opinion, when I was thinking about how the series are all going to play out. If they get them, they could beat them, but I think, Boston could beat any team but the Bucks, and Miami could only beat the Bucks, and lo and behold, they just beat both of them. And here they are, and with Bam, you'll find, like, of the maybe 2 or 3 people on Earth that could actually, answer the question for who's going to stop AD, Bam's one of them. I don't necessarily mean stop, but make it hard for him, because everything pretty much looks easy to Anthony Davis. So, I think it's going to be a competitive series, but ultimately the 2 best players are on the Lakers. Now, I'm concerned with the fact that, like, the 3rd through the 7th best player are all Heat, some shit like that. But I think that unless the Lakers have some historically bad 3-point shooting throughout the series, I think they're going to win ultimately.
I think the Heat have like a lot of reason to be afraid of them, because if I really think it's going to come down to the Bam and AD matchup. Like, if he can neutralize him, then, you take your chances on LeBron with the rest of the team, which is prone to be sorry at a lot of the time. And it just feels like Miami has a lot of depth, and it feels like Miami has, like, they've got this thing to where... Yeah, they've got that, and then if they're playing zone, then we're gonna have to shoot at that zone, and then it's like
that exacerbates the Lakers' biggest weakness. Yeah. So they're inconsistent 3-point shooting. Yeah,
like we could easily lose. So
well, that's the reason why I think it's gonna be mostly competitive. Is like that zone at some point is going to match up with bad 3-point shooting plus one of the games where Bam, makes AD inefficient. So that I think that's a big thing, and at this point, I mean, we saw it a couple times, but we haven't really seen it in this playoffs where LeBron's had to play, the normal LeBron load we're used to seeing, where it's like, God damn, he didn't sit this whole second half. We only seen that one time. It happened to be the other night when he closed out the series, but it's gonna come, and because this series is gonna be competitive, there's always that play where between, like, that playoff Rondo shit, like, turns back to reality and people just realize, oh yeah, that dude can't shoot. We don't need to guard him. Someone realizes that for once, combined with a bad Lakers night, combined with AD maybe, not as effective as a normal self, combined with one, you're going to get at least one of those games where, or you imagine you're getting one of those games to LeBron where it's like, he's not attacking for some reason. So I can see the Lakers winning, or the Heat winning 2 games at least in this series. But yeah, like, ultimately, I just think it's going to be a competitive series, but I just see, like, the 2 best players in the series are, Anthony Davis, and as you talked about with the, AD can be, some of the, Bam can have some answers for AD, but AD's always going to have an answer for Bam, and their offense relies on Bam's ability to be, short roll guy, dump handoff screen guy, roll guy, make some baskets outside the paint, from inside of 15 feet. Like, so AD's always going to have him in stunt that their offense from that perspective as well. So it's really going to come down to, can Hero, do kind of what he did in game, I think it was 6 where he scored 37. I'm not saying he needs to score 37, but can you go get 15 consistently? Who do
you think wants to win this series more, LeBron James or Pat Riley?
Who wants to win it more?
Yes.
Oh, LeBron.
Who wants to beat the other one?
Oh, LeBron.
You don't think Riley wants to send a message to him?
More than LeBron wants to beat Riley? Nah.
I don't know, bro.
Nah.
No. Pat Riley's a maniacal competitor.
Yeah, he is. So is LeBron, though.
That'll sweat through a suit. I don't know.
You don't know? All right.
I don't think Riley's like what's driving LeBron, but I think Riley.
Okay, you got a point.
Last fight, like
you.
So,
okay, so for me, if you're saying who wants to be the other one worse, because that's really the biggest thing for each of them, then yeah, I will say Riley. But if you're asking me who has a bigger competitive fire overall in general, like, let LeBron lose his finals. You know what I'm saying? Like,
gonna be bad for him.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, and the way he's played throughout this whole, playoffs, or even, quite honestly, that last year in Cleveland, most people would have let go of the rope. Like, LeBron's put on some of these performances where he's like, I can't believe he's like 34, or sorry, at the time he's 33, now he's 35. He's like, I can't believe he can still do this kind of stuff. And then you hear about, his wife is not happy with the amount of work and time he's spending and working on his body to keep himself upright to play at this level. So, I'm just going off the amount of work that goes into being able to maintain at that level, being him. I would say it's still LeBron because, there ain't no year 17 Dwayne Wade. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no, Melo ain't an all-star. Like, we're happy that he was back in the league, even though he should never left the league. But like, being a top player, those days been over for Melo. You know what I'm saying? Chris Paul like the only dude that is LeBron and Chris Paul the only 35-year-olds that are still all-stars?
Like current 35-year-olds.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
Kobe got injured in year 17, so like,
right.
At the very end,
right.
I mean, he was like having one of his best seasons.
Right. And that's Kobe.
Yeah.
That's my point. Like,
I can't really think of anybody else though.
Right. I mean, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, to still be a, top player in the league and still have that kind of will to do that, especially now when it's so much harder to play in the league because everybody's so multiple and you're running up and down the floor so goddamn much. And you have to defend so much harder now and cover more space because all the shooting. Yeah. But yeah, just
kind of nervous about the series. I won't lie. Like, it feels like some echoes of like the Detroit Pistons in 2004.
Beat by so basically like some team that comes out of nowhere that doesn't make sense historically, all of a sudden winning a title.
Right. It would fit with this season being very untraditional. There's no home court advantage. I would have loved to see Staples and then Miami's arena this year. But since there's none of that, it's just going to come down to literally who, I hate these cliches, but who wants it? Yes. So I don't know, man. I don't really have a solid, pick on this one. Like, it's just I hope the Lakers win, but Miami's not a joke.
Right.
Like, when I was talking earlier to our Miami Heat fans, I was like, what's not to like about them?
Right. Got back here without tanking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it the right way.
Yeah. Yeah. one thing that I think is also of note is it's the NBA Finals, but it's like you mentioned, without there being Staples or American Airlines Arena, like it is the finals, but it ain't the finals because of the atmosphere and the fans, and like that's also at play for like the young guys like a Bam, like a Hero, like a Duncan Robinson. Is maybe they wouldn't have made it as far if they had to deal with like the kind of lights that are on you when there's crowds and media and all these people instead of
Travel.
just like the same people that you've been around for 3 months at this point, almost 4 months, right? That has to have made it easier for as it's dealing with like those growing pains and whatever. So yeah, like that could be an advantage. Is like they don't have to grasp the immensity of this because one, they're young, so they don't know no better, and two, this ain't really like the usual.
Yeah.
But
I guess that's all I really wanted to say.
Yeah.
I'll just take Lakers in 7.
Wow. Okay.
Look, and I don't like to pick shit in 7 because I think only cowards do that. However,
wow,
this Miami Heat team like scares the bejesus out of me. Like this is like, to me, this is what niggas should have been, or this is what the Clippers like actually should have been like. Like there's this super post defender. There's like, you're a tough leader in Jimmy Butler. There's tons of 3-point shooting. They're extremely well coached. Like this is the team, not the Clippers. Like, and then LeBron and Spoelstra. You think Spoelstra ain't got a plan for LeBron?
Yeah, but I guess
how to defend him. He's seen this man for years and years. Like, I mean, LeBron's changed since then, but
he's a better shooter now. But I mean, overall, like he has not shot well outside. Like this is kind of similar to as far as his shooting struggles, anyway, or at least in the Nuggets series. Like it reminds me of almost like of his 2015 year, where it's like, well, it's weird because he had his jumper all year. Then the pandemic, or then the bubble came, and it was like he wasn't shooting at the same clip, and we were like, oh no, did he age overnight? And then the playoffs started. It was like, nah, he just wasn't playing hard. So, but the jumper still has not really returned, and except for the end of game, the closeout game the other night, like he was not willing to take jumpers. So like it could be like one of those, like one of the Spurs series that he's lost, where it's just like, all right, shoot. And I mean, he has, X number of days to kind of work on that or whatever else, but like either way, like the reason why I'm picking the Lakers in 7 is just because like you throw that zone out if you want to, between LeBron, Anthony Davis, or Dwight Howard, they're just gonna rebound you. So ultimately, they're gonna get more shots. That's when it comes down to me. Like I feel like both teams are gonna play hard all the time. They have the two best players, and they're going to win the rebound advantage most nights in the series. So that's why I'm going with the Lakers more than anything else.
We will see.
Yeah.
Niggas better not lose. Letting them know now. Better not lose.
This is the funny part for me, because the funny part for me is like, you don't even like this Lakers team, so when you win, you'll be like, okay, cool, my team won, and you can move on.
Number 17.
But if they lose,
boy,
you gonna have so much fun shitting on this team.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be glorious.
Yeah,
might had to break out a Levitar rant. Yeah. Jesus.
So speaking of LA basketball teams, the Clippers have decided today to get rid of Doc Rivers.
See ya.
Oh man, I was surprised. And the weird thing about it is, initially they were saying his job is safe, and then 2 weeks later, nah, it ain't so safe.
It is not.
Yeah, it is not. Exactly. In the words of you, it is not. I haven't watched any Oz Academy or any of her freelance matches in a while. I need to check her out. Anyway, so yeah, they're saying, or at least Woj, last time I looked, said that the two candidates to look out for are Ty Lue and Jeff Van Gundy.
Jeff Van Gundy is not coming out.
He would. I think he would come out, or he would take an interview for this job. I mean, it's a anyone that gets the job is a contender right there.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have to consider it. You would have to at least consider it. Now, as far as Ty Lue, sure, why not? My problem is when it comes to, coaches in waiting or assistants that are already on staff when you have to fire or let somebody go, it always gives me reason for politics like, okay, so what the fuck were they doing with their leadership or whatever else whenever some T Dynamic X caused the season to go south? Weren't they there? Now they're going to be boosted up. And, Lou has been in this position before when they fired Black when they were 30-11 or some shit in 2016. So I can't say that he has no track record of actually being there when things aren't necessarily great or morale's low and then still winning. But I'm just, I feel like that is an outlier that proves the rule as opposed to, he's this magical, chemistry guy.
He is somebody that will hold people accountable.
Yep. That's
which
true.
Seems like that's something the Clippers really, really need.
That is true.
But, I don't see it being him. So like you said, he was there during all that stuff.
Yeah.
He is an NBA championship coach.
Yep.
Great defensive mind, or a good defensive
great
mind.
Offensive mind. Great offensive mind, and then you worry about the defense. Like, yeah. I don't know what he does for someone that brings him in for defense, but like, as far as offense, he definitely would figure out roles for all of, with, the Montrez, Lou Will pick and roll thing that they do, 2-man game that they have with trying to get the right shots for Paul George, for trying to maximize Kawhi Leonard in the minutes he can in games he can play. I feel like I'm only worried about defense with him. Honestly, if you were to take this job, I'd be worried about the defense because honestly, that's what did them in. Well, that's the biggest thing that did them in more than anything. Like they have to devise something to be able to, if they run into a dominant big man, they can do something with it because their answer was basically play Montrez, who is a smaller power forward at center. Mm-hmm. And he's not a defensive player. Or he's an offensive person that flops and takes charges. Like he doesn't offer rim protection. Right. Like when we thought about them linking up together, we were thinking of Beverly, Paul George, and Kawhi as perimeter dogs, and like, that's great. What happens when people actually get by them and get to the rim? Oh, layup city? Okay. So, they gotta, I don't know who they hire, but whoever they hire need to have an eye on, trying to figure out a real offensive system for all the things I mentioned before and figure out a substitution pattern for all of that. Bring everybody back. Everybody needs to come back. Well, maybe not Joakim Noah, because that was just.
You might want to look at getting Beverly out of there too.
Think so?
Shit, man, it's about that time. Like, he only getting older. You might want to look for some scoring at that position.
Well, I mean, at that point, you're looking for role players now, right? Because like, you come back next year, you're gonna have to pay Montrez some more money than he was making before because he's off his rookie deal.
Bro, he's gonna be out of there.
Think so?
Somebody's gonna offer him a contract
after this playoffs.
Yes, he won the 6th Man of the Year.
Yeah, he also gave it all back in the that fucking Nugget series.
Somebody will pay.
Bro,
somebody will look for talent. Somebody will talk themselves into paying it. And then they'll be like, Clippers, you want to match this? And then Clippers will be like, we'll renounce his rights.
Okay.
How about a sign and trade?
Okay. All right. I'm trying to figure out where they go. You know what? After this year, because Dwight's on a 1-year deal, right?
Mm-hmm. Dwight's going to get paid.
Dwight might need to go get that money from the Clippers after next year.
Maybe.
And you look at him, like, he was the best backup big man in the league. So he's gonna, and you look at what he did to Jokic. Like, he can get Montrez money or whatever else.
That man about to save his career. That man about to get like a 2-year, $25 million deal or some shit like that. 2 years, $30 million.
Maybe less than that, or maybe like 2 years, 20, because the center market is completely ramped down now. But yeah, they need somebody. They need, like, if they added Dwight and got rid of Montrez, and I don't know, maybe you run with Shaman and get rid of Ty Lue, or not Ty Lue, but Lou Will. I don't know, but then like, basically, if you get yourself a defensive big or whatever else with what you have, then you really have something defensively, as opposed, like, once you get into the playoffs, like, regular season, they're going to dog some teams out, but they need somebody for in case they run into an Anthony Davis or a Jokic in the West now. And that was their glaring weakness, and we didn't realize that Jokic was going to go out here and look like fucking Elijah. As far as output, not necessarily gameplay, but just like, Jesus Christ, he's killing these dudes. But yeah, maybe I would say stand pat for them or whatever else. I really think that team is good enough to win a title if they get over whatever chemistry issues they have, to actually, like, not quit when things get hard. Like, that's the biggest thing is, like, every time someone gave them, or every time the Nuggets actually, like, decided to give them resistance, they folded. And
the Nuggets only going to get better. The Warriors going to be back, and they're probably going to have, like, something to make some type of splash. The Nets going to be back.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the Clippers at all. Well, especially Kawhi Leonard's only going to get more injured over the years.
I have a heart. I just feel like that team is so. In theory, you could play big.
And they the Clippers.
See, that's your main thing, is like you're playing the big brother and superiority complex over the Clippers. I just can't imagine them ever actually being good, as opposed to, I'm looking at this team and seeing like the people that they have, and I'm like, that's a championship level roster. Hey, like, you have to do some tweakings on the edges. Go ahead. Go your point.
Yeah. So niggas told me Lakers exceptionalism was dead, but it ain't. It is not.
Well, we'll see over the next week or two, won't we?
No, we already got back to, being contenders.
So y'all good with winning just the West now?
No, not at all.
Okay then.
But, like, the whole thing was, Lakers exceptionalism ain't gonna attract no players. They're looking for a culture. They're looking for no, nigga. They're looking to be located in Southern California with the biggest and the best there is, and it ain't changed.
I'm glad you feel this way, because I remember, about 18 months ago, or basically around the time, like, LeBron came back after the groin tear, and he didn't, and the team didn't come back, and the season was going into tank, and they missed the playoffs. You were saying, like, who wants to play with LeBron and all this shit? Now, I mean, I don't know what their outlook is for the year after this.
Look. Nobody signed there originally. Them niggas had to move the league around to get Anthony Davis traded there. And then, once that's there, it's a lot easier.
Aren't you happy that Paul George didn't sign?
Indeed. That's why I didn't even sweat Paul George not signing at the time. I just thought he was a sucker for, like, acting like he was going to sign. It's like, bro, you ain't even got to act. Just go back to OKC. You ain't got to play with it.
Oh my gosh! Like, we'll see.
That nigga from Riverside, or he's from the outskirts. Like, he ain't really from LA.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess it's time to talk about wrestling.
Yeah. I would probably give you a lot more jokes strictly on the basketball, but I'm sure I can think of a couple for, some of the wrestling here.
Yeah, boy, it's going to be a bitch editing all these drop calls. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, somebody don't want us to win tonight.
I'm telling you. Yeah, they. WWE Clash of Champions. I know this show was not bad, but I don't know if I necessarily like this show. It's weird. Like, I think this is more or less like I feel like it's a 2-match show. If we're talking about like things that or I say that back, a 3-match show. If you're talking about things that are like worth talking about as far as, or things being memorable from, we look back at the end of the year on this show. The ambulance match, of course, the main event with Roman and Jey Uso, and the ladder match. I think that the women's Raw match for the title for Asuka versus Zelina, based on expectations, succeeded, but I don't know how good that match necessarily is. And then the rest of it is more or less just like TV matches, like second half of hour TV matches that are just there to fill time because, we did 3 pay-per-views in like 5 weeks or 6 weeks, whatever the fuck it was.
Right. Yeah, man, it's like you said. Like, I think that, the main event was super, the opener was super, and then between that, you kind of just got a lot of downs, and then sticking your head over the horizon.
So can I say it?
What?
Can I say the overall synopsis of this pay-per-view? What it was?
Sure.
The meat was trash, but the buns was excellent. Literally, it was the bookends that carried the day for this show. And if you love this show, it's because you love the beginning match and the end match, and then like whatever else is, you just like whatever. The rest was time filling. I don't care. Yeah. So let's start with the ladder match. Intercontinental ladder match. Sami Zayn versus Jeff Hardy versus AJ Styles. I thought this was the second best match that the main rosters had this year. The other match I thought was better was AJ versus Daniel Bryan for the Intercontinental title tournament final. This match was like, it's a slower paced match. Like, if you're a person that's not into the story, you dock it, because I docked it, honestly. Like, I thought they made AJ Styles like the dumbest fucker alive. The dumbest motherfucker alive. Like, but yeah, like, outside of that, some of the spots were, stuff was just like, that was, I haven't seen that before. That was cool. That was stupid. You shouldn't do this. It was dangerous. And also stuff where you just like, Sami Zayn flashed. I feel like this is his best heel performance. From a character standpoint, not necessarily the work. But yeah, like, and also pleasant surprise because of, after he left for the pandemic or whatever else, and now he's back and he actually getting his title back. I thought it was cool. But yeah, great match. But it's hard for me because, I don't rate these shits just based off my, like, I give my initial reaction and I think and go back and think about what are matches that I can compare it to or whatever else. And like, I like like if I were to say like move for move, what match was better between and stunt for stunt was better between this match or the North American ladder match from Takeover 4, I think that the NXT match is better. But still, I still think it was a great match. Like, it's at least 4. I think some people are out here giving like 4.5, 4 3/4 and shit. But either way, I'm not gonna go that high, but I still love the match.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. Like, I like this a lot more than the North American one. Mm-hmm. I thought this one was a brilliant match from like some of the like stuff like cuffing his ear to the ladder. Like, it's painless, but it's like brilliant at the same time. It's gross. Yeah. But
remember Minoru Suzuki, Randy Orton? Remember those days?
I do. I thought Sami Zayn did. There was an excellent column that came out on The Ringer. I don't know who wrote it, but they talked about the deconstruction of Sami Zayn's moveset. However, he broke all that shit out, and we should have known that this was going to be a good match because Sami Zayn, nuts with ladders, a wrestling genius. Jeff Hardy doesn't give a fuck when he starts holding his hands, like this, and the 2-finger pose on top of the ladder. Some shit's going down. And then AJ Styles just kind of had to be there while they, had to match around him for the most part.
All right, I'm going to stop you right now. So I was watching this match, knowing that y'all was finna say that he wasn't doing no shit. And then I noticed that, like, he was doing shits. And then, like, after, I know you watched it after most of us watched it. Mm-hmm. And then you said, like, he wasn't doing shit. And I'm like, huh? So, he takes a back body drop onto a ladder. He gets tipped over on a ladder, ends up, and falls off the ladder, over the ropes to the floor.
He did that in, like, the safest manner possible, like the most non-bump taking way possible. No, the most non-bumping shit you ever seen in a ladder match is Rock at the Intercontinental title match, ladder match against Triple H at SummerSlam 2000. Sorry, not 2000, but 1998. That's the least bumping ass shit you ever seen in a ladder match. AJ just had a normal ladder match. Now, if you want to say, like, yes, he didn't bump like Sami Zayn or bump like Sami Zayn or Jeff Hardy, sure. But it's Sami Zayn and Jeff Hardy. Would Jeff Hardy ever have made $1 million in his business if he did not take the bumps he did for 25, 30 years? No.
I say no. Yeah. He's a spot monkey. Look, his brother calls him a spot monkey. He knows he's a spot monkey. Why do you think he's taking so many drugs in his life? Because he's in pain.
Somebody got to be. Live for the moment. Somebody got to be.
Live for the moment. Wasn't that his catchphrase at one point?
Yes.
Living in the moment.
To me, that was just a code for doing drugs.
Yes.
But never mind that.
Yeah. You know, when it's bad, it's demons. But when it's a fine, it's just living in the moment, you know.
Right.
Living your lifestyle. It's like Shawn Michaels too. Drugs.
Yeah, but this was excellent. And happy to see Sami Zayn win. I think we called it on the show.
Yeah. I just for a second, like, one thing I will say is WWE has to do a better job of realizing, like, the kind of shots they take with their camera in tight shots or wide shots. And when they go to tight shots, if you've watched their product for any amount of time to know the beats of what, if somebody goes to the top rope and they go tight on the person with top rope, you know that somebody's already back up on their feet that was laid down on the floor, or they position themselves where they can roll out the way. So when Sami Zayn handcuffed Jeff's earlobe or gauge hole to the ladder, and then went inside and handcuffed AJ's arm, and then AJ was Sammy handcuffed his hand, was trying to handcuff. Sammy handcuffed AJ's arm. AJ had foiled him and was about to climb up, and they show an angle for where they're showing tight on AJ's face before he gives him whatever suplex, whatever he gave him. At that point, I was like, he just handcuffed himself to AJ so that AJ can't climb. Sure enough, cut the angle. AJ's like, "One tarnation?" And sure enough, he looks down and Sammy's smiling like, "Yes, you cannot get up here without me. I have fucked you." And I was like, you have to figure out something to where, like, you can get an angle shot without making it and tipping me off to where I know the shit was going to happen. So, you know, I'm watching, so I see that happen. And then, like, the finish is just so preposterous. And, like, is AJ a heel or a face right now? I don't even know. Last I left off, he was a heel, right? So, it's not necessarily as bad because he fucked over a heel, and you can have heels be dumbasses, but they would never do this to Randy Orton, to where Randy Orton gets outsmarted by another heel and handcuffed to a ladder, and he doesn't have the presence of mind to... Actually, I know they wouldn't do that to him, because, in fact, let me finish my point. They wouldn't do that to AJ Styles. They wouldn't do that to Randy Orton if Orton's the heel. And I know they wouldn't do that because in a similar situation in TLC 2015, Cena was handcuffed to the top rope. He unlatched the turnbuckle, climbed, rocked Orton in the head with the turnbuckle. Cena's about to climb. Orton gets up, grabs the rope that is handcuffed to the Cena, and yanks him down and and he falls halfway on, short on, a table and then climbs up and wins. So AJ doesn't realize that, hey, if I just climb down 2 rungs and pull, I'm taking the ladder and we have to restart the match all over again. He has to get into the ladder until I can, or buy me more time. He just sat there stupefied like a damn dummy. And now for me, it was just like, they have never portrayed AJ as a goddamn dummy before, to my knowledge. And now he apparently is. Total spaz.
Well, that man thinks the Earth's flat, so anything could happen.
I don't know how that's applicable point to whether or not him being smart at wrestling. What does that have to do with him being smart at wrestling or not? I just don't. I get what you're saying. He's dumb in this aspect, so he should be dumb in everything. But like,
it might
he's a genius
bleed
at
over.
wrestling, so no, I don't. Here's the thing. Maybe that works if like he's been a dumbass at any other point in WWE. They've never really made him a dumbass before, as a heel anyway. So. For me, it's just like, that's so preposterous. Like, I don't know what to do. I have been flummoxed. Like, whatever. Great match though. Next match after that was the Raw Women's title match between Asuka and Bum of the Month candidate Zelina Vega. A match that based on
you mean Zelina Vega? You mean Zelina Sabre Jr.?
Okay, so this match is proof that WWE's old-fashioned women doing spots and choreography and flips instead of actually wrestling, it never had to exist. Zelina Vega is not some super experienced worker, and they told a simple story of Asuka could fucking kill her. She's way bigger than her. She can kick her head off, but she has a bad limb, and Zelina just isolated it and kept working over it to her advantage. And whenever Asuka would escape, she would find other things to do to take advantage of it and get near fall here or stay on top. And then ultimately Asuka was able to escape because she's a submission specialist and slap her in the chicken wing and won. And you watch that match, you're just like, wow. Like, Alexa Bliss has never, ever, after all this time, after all those matches, after all we've had to endure, for all we've suffered, for all we've lost, has ever wrestled as well as Zelina did. And Zelina ain't out here working a million matches or working house shows, being put on TV or whatever else. This is a match that all you had to do, it was very simple and straightforward. And it worked it wasn't some great match, but it was a fun little match, and it was something different than what you were expecting. Like, I was expecting them to go out there and do all the choreography, and I guess with, Asuka or whatever else, it was like, nah, I'm not having that. Wrestle and get the fuck on. And Zelina decided to wrestle. I thought it was a success based on expectation.
I thought it was a nice little wrestling school match. Like, if you've been at wrestling school for six months, you do a basic match. Right. That's what you'll get. And she did a cool move at the end, the Zack Sabre roll up, and, she might have had a couple people believing she might steal it. So, it was alright.
And that's the goal of that match, is get to buy the pin, or the near fall at the end, really. So a lot of these matches on this card, quite frankly, that was the goal. I don't know I don't know how, it comes down to how what you believe in or whatever else, but like, I never believed for a second Asuka was losing the match, but, I was like, there it is. They pressed every button you're supposed to press to make it work. But yeah, Asuka ends up winning. I don't like the idea of Zelina bowing to Asuka. I don't like that. I don't like the imagery of that, but whatever. Asuka bowed back, and then Zelina hit her, and then Asuka cussed her out in Spanish. In Japanese. But before that happened, Asuka got on the mic and said that she was a firecracker, and I was just like,
this is straight from Vince.
Yep. Look, Latin and small. Oh, definitely. There's something about spicy or something about being a firecracker. Definitely. Something involving heat. Some type of heat was going to be mentioned.
Boy.
Yeah. I think the next match after that was the United States title match, and this is where, like, the first hour of the show was like, Look at this little, thrown together nonsensical show out here with a solid B+ through a first hour. Look at this show. And then we get to Bobby Lashley versus Apollo Crews. And this is a regular ass match that would be on the second half of a Raw.
I ain't got nothing for you on this match, bro.
Yeah, man. Get Lashley in the ring with McIntyre again. Apparently he's only good with big people. When he wrestles people small in WWE anyway, it's just, it's fine. He works hard, but there's nothing really there. There's no oomph for some reason.
Did you ever see him in Roman Reigns or no?
No.
I would check out that match if you like big man Bobby Lashley.
That was before 2018 SummerSlam, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was a number one contender match, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Bobby Lashley, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. They tried hard. Just it was a TV match. It felt like a TV match.
Hey, we was right though. The big black one.
Yeah. So
Ricochet, manager.
Yeah, the manager Ricochet. The one and only managing extraordinaire. Okay, so yeah, he got beat with the he gets in some hope spots, and then all of a sudden he gets put in the fucking full Nelson, and then he taps out or passes out. I can't remember which one. I'm trying to think what the next match was after that. Was it Bayley and Asuka?
Yeah, Street Profits tag match.
Ah, that's right. That is right. They're having a match where, for some reason, I don't know, they're trying hard, they're working really fast, but it's one of those matches where it's there's no, I don't know what the story necessarily is, and one necessarily building towards some super, well, I take it back. They get the heat on Montez early, they build towards a hot tag for, D'Angelo. D'Angelo runs wild for 15 seconds and then gets cut off, and then they bring Montez back in. And at some point they were going between, they get Garza in the ring with, Montez, and they go for a Spanish fly, and as they go for a Spanish fly, they're going slow, trying to get up there, but that's what they're headed for, the Spanish fly. And you're like, okay, they're going very, very slow. And then as they go up, you see Montez's left foot slip, and I was like, oh my god, please abort.
He barely got around.
Please abort. Barely got around. If you go replay that, Garza landed forehead first on the mat.
Right.
And I was like, oh no, this dude might be terribly concussed. But he immediately rolls Montez up for the pin, and then he gets up and he goes for a knee strike, and after he hits the knee strike, he just collapses and grabs his hip, his left hip, and he tags out, and then the next thing you know, Andrade gets pinned off of, or he gets hit by D'Angelo for a spine buster, and then the counts 1, 2, he gets the shoulder and kicks out at 3, and then the ref still counts 3, and I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? And they had mentioned that, we talked about Garza getting out in the match. Apparently they decided to call the whole match off after that point, and without ever cluing in on Andrade for any reason, and it's just weird. And then the referee is I'm sorry, the commentary team puts it over as if the ref almost went into business for himself or is incompetent, and it's that's not good for the product or the TV show or whatever story you're eventually going to go and tell, because you're just sitting there what just happened here? That's not what was supposed to happen, obviously. Why is this ref an idiot? Why? And then why is the commentary team pointing to the fact that this ref's an idiot? So it was just weird. As far as, Garza, well, go ahead with your, whatever, you want to say about the match. I want to go to Garza next after this.
Yeah, I don't really have too much on it. It was just kind of there, and I'm just, the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, why isn't Andrade doing something better?
Yeah. Now, as far as Garza, I went immediately replayed the see where the injury occurred.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it's just one of those stupid things where, like, you know, nothing impactful hurt. Like, if anything should have been hurt, it should have been a concussion from his forehead, hitting the mat. But he gets up, goes for the knee strike, and then collapses, grabs his left hip, and, like, I started thinking, like, is this a quad tear? Is this, like, something happened to his, like, his IT band? Like, is it a groin tear? What is it? And, you know, I forgot who said it, but, like, word from the back was that it was quad related. So that's a fucking rough process. And it also makes you think about some other stuff with Garza.
Yeah. Because that's one of those injuries.
Yep. It sure is. It also makes you worry about his future. Like, I don't care about whatever he may or may not be doing, but as far as, like, his style, quad tear is going to change a lot of that.
Yeah. Like Triple H.
Yeah, like Triple H ain't out here doing flips.
So it wasn't doing good matches either, bitch. Like,
my point is, like, the people we've seen recover from this type of injury or had this type of injury in wrestling and come back, like, I don't want to say they're necessarily stiffs. In the case of Kevin Nash, yeah, a stiff, or turned into a stiff from that moment, but, like, we're talking about dudes that are, like, powerhouses and brawlers and technical wrestlers as opposed to, you know, motherfuckers that can be, you know, sensational and spectacular at times with flips and Spanish flies and moonsaults and that sort of thing. Like, this might alter his whole entire career. If this is in fact a quad tear. I hope it's not. I hope it's something else stupid that he can return and be what he was or what we've seen him be.
Right.
Yeah. So next match after that, I think it's
we avoided Bailey Nikki Cross.
This might be COVID related. You are celebrating?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Terrible. Terrible human being.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I own that one.
I hope you feel good hope you feel good about yourself. Terrible human being. Terrible human being.
I hope no one is sick. However,
you hope everyone is safe.
I hope everyone's safe. Like Prince Nassim would say, I just hope that they're all safe. But thank you for not making me have to watch this match.
Wow.
However, you know, instead of Bailey and Nikki Cross,
we got
1,000. Yeah, we got Bailey versus Asuka 1,000 with a bad finish. So
yeah. So either way, we were going to get an angle.
Yeah,
that's all it's telling me is like it wasn't about the match; it was about an angle, which is like, can you like, and we'll get to the main event when we talk about this too. Is like, I understand that most of the money is made off TV now, and that the things that you're trying to sell is your TV, but it always feels hustling backwards. It always feels like hustling backwards when a non-surprise return, something that's an angle that's not like a return, is like we throw out this match as bait to and then the real thing is not the match, is in fact whatever angle we're giving you to get you interested in whatever is to come. And it's like, unless it's a return, cool. If it's a turn, cool. If it's something else, I'm always kind of like, for the most part, I'm usually like, I wish he had put that on TV and then like give me a match. Like that's kind of the reason why we tune in for pay-per-views to watch the matches. Like, like that is TV show shit. Put it on your TV show, and then I can hear about it. I don't want to watch that, but whatever. It was a fun match until the DQ happened. I was furious. I was like, y'all had a good match at SummerSlam. Y'all can just do another good match. No, fuck me. Okay, thank you. Then, another dead giveaway. Bailey goes to celebrate after, putting the chair into Asuka's gut on the ringside area. And it's a tight shot and her back is turned to the ringside opening on the backside. So I'm like, okay, somebody's about to hit her. Somebody's about to attack her from behind. And sure enough, you hear that perfect ping from the chair off her back, and it's Sasha, and Sasha has a soft neck brace on, which I don't know why, but it made me laugh. Like this, like, you know, she got hurt 5 weeks ago. She's still selling this neck injury. Meanwhile, the same neck injury that Ronda Rousey wrestled through the next day with and won a match in. This is like so goofy. Anyway,
I gotta say, man, I'm not enthused for Sasha and Bayley. I find it hard to care. I have hated what Bayley's done like the last year, essentially. And it feels like, man, WWE held these people apart for years and years and years and years. And it looks like they're going to a match to do it in October.
Right.
And damn, I can't even blame them. That's because, like, they made me not care about these people.
Yeah, that's what the company does.
And then I wouldn't be shocked to be seeing Alexa or Lacey come WrestleMania time in the title match.
I don't know, because the draft is in October 12th, like the second week of October. So between Alexa and Lacey, who knows where the fuck they'll be? They might both be on Raw for all we know. I don't know. Like, they're going to
maybe it's Charlotte
for the SmackDown title. I can see that. I don't know. I don't know. I just really don't. It's weird. It's really weird. I'm imagine that this would be the SmackDown's Hell in a Cell match. I imagine that would be it. I don't know what else it would be for SmackDown.
Got people buzzing that it's clearly going to main event. I don't know if I saw it clearly, but there's a chance at main events.
I mean, yeah, there's a chance it's going to be Hell in a Cell. It's going to be one of the 2 Hell in a Cell matches they have, probably. Maybe they stupidly do 3 again. I don't know, but I imagine that would be it. I imagine that the Raw side would be McIntyre versus Orton.
Yeah, I think the Hell in a Cell concept, like, of course, they murdered it last year and the year before.
Well,
so you know they're prone to fuckery.
In the main event, they murdered it. In the main event, because the last 2 years, the first Hell in a Cell matches were both great, and then the main event Hell in a Cell matches both had just ridiculous bullshit finishes at the end that made you upset. But
business killing finishes.
Yes. A fucking no contest on Hell in a Cell. Then next year, a fucking DQ or a ref stoppage. They don't want to call it DQ, a ref stoppage in a Hell in a Cell. That's what Mick Foley took that ass whooping for?
Right. Yeah, Sasha and Bayley does nothing for me right now. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's Bayley. Her heel character to me seems like, you know, high school play villainy or whatever. And
you feel like she's a dork that's just being mean.
Right. And it's just like, what happened to the great wrestler? Like, I don't know. Like,
she's wrestling Alexa Bliss and Lacey Evans every other week. And they don't let her wrestle like Naomi or Sasha yet, because they kept that away for years. Like, that whole division is a mess. Like, the 2 best wrestlers on that division, it was really is Naomi, or also, I'll take it that. It was also at the time, it was before they split them up, it was Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville as well. It was like, they had people that either were green or were garbage or trash, whatever you want to call them, or mediocre. And it was.
She had the belt for like a year, damn near, right? And it's like you're just a heel with a belt, like, they would never do this to her. She was a babyface,
right? Okay, so she won the belt at Money in the Bank 2019, right?
Mm-hmm.
She lost it at the pay-per-view that was literally 5 days before the first SmackDown on Fox. And then she won it back on the first SmackDown on Fox. So she has basically been the champion for like 18 months, 17 months, or something like that, with like only like 5 days of not being the champion in between.
Bro, I feel like she's like I've seen like 2 good pay-per-view matches from her in that time. SummerSlam and then like a 3-star match with like Nikki Cross. The rest of it, throw it in the bin.
No, my because I only remember one.
See?
I would say like it's weird because like the summer last year when they were doing like those MSG shows, when they were doing like the tags with like the 2 horsewomen on Raw versus 2 horsewomen on SmackDown, like those matches all were great, but or 3 3/4 or 3.5, 3 3/4. So very good to great, good ass matches to great match. So like it's all so it's weird, and it's just like that whole roster from that SmackDown side was always like an issue. But like you know what? At some point, you have to be like, hey man, it was an issue for the SmackDown roster back when it was Becky and Charlotte, and what did they do? They went out there and balled. It was basically those 2 plus Asuka plus Naomi, and they made it work, on SmackDown back then. Whereas like, with Sasha and Bayley, they constantly had Nikki Cross as like, and Naomi as 2 other people they could wrestle, and then everything else was just like, nonsense. Like they tried the Lacey Evans thing, if it didn't work. They tried the Alexa tag thing with Nikki Cross, and Nikki had to be had to carry those matches or whatever else. And then like they're doing this nonsense with Alexa, and then they had the melodrama with Otis or the Love Square with Otis and Ziggler and whatever else, and they never actually like elevate either one of them. And now, you know, Mandy's on Raw and Sonya is like going to court to try to put this stalker away. So it's like it all turned into shit.
Bro, is
like, it was a bad roster and it got worse.
Is Otis alive?
I don't know what they're doing with Otis. I mean, I don't watch SmackDown, so I don't know. Like the only time I watch any main roster is like the times where I'll just put on Raw, like when we're doing this Monday show. I don't even have it up right now. I have and there's not even like a pay-per-view or like a like a month like a playoff basketball game on. I just have it on my TV just off right now. I don't even have it on. Amazing. But yeah, like it's been a rough year, but ultimately, like if they tried, it would be better than this. It's a bad roster. Plus, they didn't try, and they never let their 2 best wrestlers ever have a feud until apparently now, after a year and a half.
Boy,
yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm just baffled. Like why aren't the calls for the women's division louder here, James? Like, what is going on with this?
Good point. And you've been making this point for a while now. And every time you made this point, I was like, yeah, especially SmackDown. So I ain't got nothing else to add. We tied this conversation.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, the SmackDown roster was shit back then. AEW is getting shit, and a lot of this comes down to when it comes to WWE, people don't give them the benefit of the doubt because they have earned not getting the benefit of the doubt. So when people like point out I imagine in my mind, when people point out that the AEW women's roster has the time they get and the people in the effort they put into character development and angles, whatever else, and they talk about how bad it is, I feel like those people are a lot like, oh yeah, the main roster, we've already been counted them out. How about some shit that we can possibly change around for the better? But yeah, like honestly, like think about it, like the SmackDown women's roster was so weak they decided like, yeah, let's make Sasha and Bayley, the tag champs, so they can float to Raw, so they can fight Kyrie and Asuka. That's exactly what they did. Am I wrong here? Is that not what they did all summer long?
They overexposed the hell out of them.
Yeah. So there you go. And I don't know what amount of COVID considerations were made for why they ended up with rolling Asuka back out there, but they did. And like, it was also weird for me, like when that happened, like she got took out with one chair shot, and then like that whole thing was going for so long. I was like, is Asuka gonna make the save for? Is Asuka about to make the save for Sasha? She fucking hates her too. And luckily they didn't. So kudos for them not like making me mad for that. Like they did this whole thing over the summer and like all of a sudden like, you know, you're not
Sasha been evil forever.
Right.
Why the fuck like do I care? Like, you're here for your revenge? Like, oh.
Right. I don't know. She's gonna have to, you know, because she's gonna have to go redeem herself. I don't know how. But we'll see.
Yeah.
It's really weird. It's like they turned her heel for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Let her be a heel for 13 months. And they turn her right back face. It's like,
yep, had a nothing title reign
that lasted like what, a week or two?
Like a week.
It was a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess everything's supposed to be all good when she wins the SmackDown Women's title.
Okay.
Yeah. And then she goes on the feud against
who?
Right. Watch it be Charlotte.
I'd welcome that. I'd welcome that.
Oh my god! I don't want to see, like, you talking about you don't care if you see Sasha versus Bayley. Like, at least we haven't seen that to death on the main roster. Like, we've seen so much Charlotte and Sasha. Don't get me wrong, those matches are great, but still, it's like y'all ain't got nothing else. Y'all can't elevate Shayna or Bianca. Can't possibly think of that.
Can't do it.
You thinking too far outside the box. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Jeez, man. Jeez. Oh no. Next match after this was WWE title match, ambulance match between Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. Match is based on the fact that after Drew beat Orton with a backslide at SummerSlam, the very next night, Orton attacked him and punted him 3 times, and he was off TV for a while. And when he came back, I think after a week or two, because, you know, babyface is heel at preposterous
magical powers.
Yeah, like, he got a broken jaw, but his mouth's not wired shut. There's also that point as well. Fuck. So, like, it's broke. Like, if he had said dislocated, you'd be like, okay, you can. In theory, when people think of dislocations, they think of like shoulders or joints. And you're like, okay, you can pop those back into place, right?
Right.
Like, I have no idea if you can pop a fucking mandible back into place, but at least you have that idea. When you say he broke his jaw, it's like, okay, where is the wiring? Where is the through the wire?
Where's the swole?
Yes. Where is the steel plate jaw? Like, you know. Anyway, so
yeah.
He comes back and he starts attacking Orton with claymores, so then it turns into an ambulance match because whoever hits their move is going to end up with, you know, their kick on each other's jaw is going to end up needing to go to the hospital, so put them in the ambulance. Okay, fine, great. They have this match, and every time, and Randy Orton keeps getting the advantage in the match is due to put McIntyre away. And then another asshole that has nothing to do with this match outside of Randy Orton attacked me months ago comes in and basically thwarts Orton and puts him on his ass, but doesn't stay around to follow through on screwing Randy Orton in the way that which would be the reason why they came back. And for me, watching this match, I'm like, I get the story you're trying to tell, but ultimately, this match plays on to where you ultimately forget that and turns to a normal match. So why did you do these things? Especially when it makes the heel the sympathetic figure because he keeps getting fucked.
You could say that. A lot of them, like, just made me laugh, though, how they come out of nowhere, like...
Out the woodwork. From the literal woodwork.
This man Orwell cock his fist back, and all of a sudden somebody grabbing his hand, like, nah, player, like I'm back. I thought that... I don't know. This was a weird one. Like, some of that stuff was funny.
Yes, it was. But it was unintentional funny. It wasn't meant to be funny.
Correct. It wasn't meant to be funny at all. Why did he need so much help? Like, I don't know. Like, they weren't necessarily helping Drew, but in Big Show's case, like, didn't he, like, just, like, fight McIntyre a couple months ago and, like, turn heel on him in the same night at WrestleMania or Monday Night Raw or
it was a Monday
something
night,
like that?
Okay, so the match happened at WrestleMania. They aired it and taped it, telling us that it happened after WrestleMania went off air because it was in the PC. Yeah. So I don't know. This is a clusterfuck with Big Show and McIntyre. But like, the thing wasn't that. I don't think the thing was that Big Show turned heel on McIntyre. It was that he won a title match and he slapped Drew to get the match to piss him off to go to him into a match. I don't think it was actually a heel turn, if I remember correctly. But it was back in April, so I don't really remember that clearly. But yeah. I don't really remember it being a heel turn. But either way, in the first 3 minutes of the match, or 5 minutes of the match, is when he came out. Mm-hmm. And he grabbed him by the ankle. Orton turns around and is like, who the fuck is grabbing Orton's ankle? Turn around, it's the Big Show!
Yes.
I was like, oh my god. And then he chokeslams he pulls Orton out to the ring, out the ring by the announce table and chokeslams the announce table. And then the match keeps going. And then they end up going to the back. And they're in catering and like Orton gets advantage on McIntyre. And all of a sudden, Christian comes out and whoops that man's ass by, like, effectively catering. And then they end up brawling to the top of the ambulance. And by that, another note. By the time they had brawled out for the first near fall of the ambulance, I had saw, like, oh, there's a big rigging thing for someone to fall through behind basically between the ambulance and the screens for the fans. So like somebody do a spot off the top of this ambulance. I already knew what was happening. So they go to the back, Christian attacks, they end up coming back, they end up on top of the ambulance, and they do this spot that I was just like, oh my god. Okay, Rich, how tall are ambulance trucks? Less than 10 feet, right? 8 feet, 9 feet?
9 feet.
How tall is Drew McIntyre?
Drew McIntyre is 6'5".
Okay, so they do this spot where Drew basically gets knocked by Randy Orton off of the edge of the ambulance, and then it's basically like a fucking action film where he's hanging off the ledge by both hands, and because there's like a handle on the edge of the back of the ambulance, and Orton stomps on one, so it's supposed to be dramatic because he got one hand off his, oh my god, he's gonna fall to his doom, fall to his death. And then I'm like, but it's a fucking ambulance. It's a 3-foot fall. Like, people fall off the ramp is higher, falling off the ramp be a higher fall than this. What are we doing? And what they did was they shot it tight to where you couldn't see that it was such a small distance, but in my mind I'm still like, it's a 9-foot ambulance. He's 6'5".
They're trying to trick you.
So he falls off, and I was like, this is fucking stupid. And the next thing you know, the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels is up on top of the ambulance. He just climbed up there and snuck up on the Viper.
He just appeared.
The Heartbreak Kid snuck up on the Viper on top of the ambulance.
Maybe... James, maybe he used his harness from WrestleMania 12 and landed up there without us seeing it.
Oh yeah. Anyway, god damn it, he super kicks him, and what do you know? He fell off of the ambulance and fell exactly where the crash setup thing was, but that was behind the whole time that the camera still caught. I just like, oh my god. So then he's been left for dead, so all Drew McIntyre should have to do now at this point is just roll his dead ass into the thing, right? No. Right. Orton hits he opens the door, he's about to throw him in there. Orton hits the RKO, throws McIntyre's ass in there, has one of their clothes. Drew stops him with the last one, gets out, hits the, I forgot what he hit. I think he hit a,
punt.
He hit him with the Claymore.
No, he hit him with the punt.
No. Hit him with the Claymore. put Randy Orton in, then was about to close the door, thought different, then decided to get his vengeance, the sweet poetic justice of, you fucked me with this move, broke my jaw, so I'm going to punt you back and break your jaw, right? Except the part where, like, it's not as sweet because you had help from 3 different motherfuckers to save you in this match. So, kicks, throws him in, close the thing, and then at the end, it's just this ridiculously goofy, funny, visual of Ric Flair being in the ambulance going to drive Randy Orton to the hospital. It's like, why would he help him hand him to the hospital? He took him to the hospital. If someone puts me in the hospital, you know what? I don't want them to go to the hospital. I hope they fucking die. Whatever. And also the visual was funny because earlier in the match, Drew went to, Claymore Orton into the open driver's seat door and got out the way, so Drew had Claymore the door off, so the door is just laying there, so is Rick just driving, supposedly he's driving down the highway.
A Jeep.
On a yes, like a Jeep. No doors. A no-door ambulance. So the visual is goofy and funny, and that part was funny for me, and I know I'm not going to criticize that part, but everything else involved in this match was like, it felt like they put in 2 different things, 2 different stories of this match to put together when it's like, picking one or the other would have worked a lot better for me. Because ultimately what it made to me was like, it made, for a person I felt like they've done a great job of making him look strong, and he's always a badass. That man got all the bail. He got all the bail in this situation. It's like, I get that if it's a heel, I get that if it's not a match and it's all the people and Drew opened the door and brought all these people back to go whoop his ass collectively, and not a match, but the fact that it happened in the match, and then like at the end, then he gets his receipt, I'm just like, this, like, if this was all flipped around, that's a Triple H finish. If Drew McIntyre's a heel and Randy Orton's a babyface, and all that happens, we say that's a Triple H match, where you have all this interference, the babyface overcomes it, and instead of it leading directly to the finish for the heel to say that, so you could have sympathy for the babyface to lose, Triple H comes in and hits his move at the end, or hits a move at the end and puts him away, so you know that like Triple H actually is the greatest. Like, except it's reverse. It is like, so it's not as bad, but it's still just like, it just made Drew look so weak as a hero, to me.
I wonder if, I would assume that they're going to do a Hell in a Cell match because
they did all this protection and bail.
Yep, all this protection with the backslide win and not getting pinned in the ambulance match.
Right.
And
that's my main thing.
We tell people all the time, like, they say wins and losses don't matter, right?
Right. But they never want to beat nobody they care about.
Correct.
And the thing for me, just like, Floyd was arguing about the match, and like, that's cool that we disagree, but I'm just like, bro, when they had this Hell in a Cell match, you're gonna look back and be like, that's the reason why they did it. So because they didn't want to really beat anybody, so they had an ambulance match, no one had to get pinned, and then they had to backslide because they didn't want to have Drew McIntyre pin Randy Orton for some strange fucking reason, and then you get through at the end of the thing, and it's like, Randy Orton got hit with a backslide, he got fucked in an ambulance match, and then probably Drew's gonna actually just beat him, or Orton wins, and it's like, so this whole time, these past 5 months, when we protect this dude, the game always comes back to Randall Keith Orton, huh? Okay.
Unbelievable. Let's get to the main event.
Yeah, main event. Universal title match. The big dogging tribal chief.
Shirtless tribal chief.
Yes. Roman Reigns.
The women's love this, from what I'm gathering.
Sorry?
The women's loved this.
Good for them. I'm sure a lot of the men's love this too. Good for them. It never made any sense that he was in the vest forever any damn way. Like, he is, we know why Randy Orton, or not Randy Orton, we know why, Roman Reigns is so popular to a lot of the, fan base. Throw them a bone sometimes, man. So, anyway, He comes out. He's wearing every single thing he normally wears, except for the vest in the beater underneath. So it's like, I don't know why y'all didn't do this earlier. Whatever. They come out and have the match. It is then like how long was the match? 22 minutes?
I think so.
Yeah, it's basically a 22-minute angle.
I disagree. I love this match. Yeah, I love this match.
I like the angle, the match as far as the work. It was just
yeah, like they weren't coming out there to wow you even
because it wasn't
seemingly athletically.
Because it was an angle.
I thought that this got Roman Reigns. I loved the presentation of it. It was slow, but
very slow.
I didn't like the talking.
You didn't?
But I didn't like all the talking.
All of it or some of it?
Like, it just got to be a lot of it. Okay. It was like, all right, man, y'all telling us but not showing us.
Right.
I think Reigns
instead of like 12.
I think Reigns should have been more brutal, but I still loved it. Everything about this, like it was great. Like,
if this had not been a match and had just been a typical Randy Orton 5-minute beatdown outside the ring, I would say it was great. It's a match, and not for one single solitary second did I think that Roman Reigns was ever in trouble. The finish was ever in doubt.
Yeah.
And that is a problem for wrestling matches. Like, if there is never, like, if I don't buy your fucking host spot, you're in fucking trouble, my guy. But yeah, I had the same issue you did. Like, I was watching this match and feeling like, if this pace, this is a pace that we complain about for a lot of WWE heels. And I thought that we were going to get something different from Roman, and there's still time for that because it's a special occasion, so I'm not going to kill it that bad. But ultimately, I like the beatdown. I like the stuff that happened throughout this thing. Except it was a match, and I thought the work was just so slow, and there wasn't much of it. It was more of an angle than an actual match. Like, they even cut off, like, even the crowd noise from the Thunderdome got shut off so you could hear Roman talk. Like, they gave you some cinematic presentation for this thing to work. So, like, for me, I'm not judging it as a match. If I had to judge it as a match, I would probably just give it 3 stars and call it a day.
Wow. I give this 4.75. I think this is one of the best matches of the year. Especially in WWE.
Hell no. Fuck no. I'm never watch this match again. It will never impress me to watch this match again. And the thing is,
to me, this match hit all the emotional stuff that, to me, people claim Dustin and Cody did last year.
I think Dustin and Cody smoked this.
I think in reverse. I think this smoked Dustin and Cody. And they didn't have to bleed.
True, but I also thought at certain points that Dustin can actually win. Like, I think a lot of this comes down to, like, you love the Usos and I like the Usos. I think that also comes down to it as well. So for me, and when I say like, I mean, I like them a lot. Like, I don't, you hold them in a higher regard than I do. But I think the
better than FTR.
Shots. Yeah, I just think the thing for me is, like, I'm not judging it as a match because, like, as a match, I have to, it just did nothing for me as a match. Like, so I think it's a great angle that was a match that went 22 minutes. And for me, like, I think of WWE comparisons for this kind of match, and it's like, it makes me think of, like, the, Brock and Cena from 2014 SummerSlam, and, like, I remember I hated that match too. So, like, for me, just like you said, like, a lot of the telling and not showing part, like, I feel like if it goes shorter, it's more effective. I just felt like it went past its peak for me or whatever else, and it's like, the point is, like, okay, like I still like it, but like I don't, people love it. Good for them. Well, for me, it didn't resonate with me on that level. But like I do think it was good, but like I like the elements of it that like is the reason why I call it an angle as opposed to an actual match. Because as a match, there's 1,000 matches I like more from this year than this match as a match, and I'm not going back to rewatch this.
Yeah,
I think there's a bunch of Roman Reigns matches that watch this shit too.
I think that the presentation here was amazing, especially
he's great as a heel, by the way. Which is like,
amazing.
We told you motherfuckers this years ago.
It's amazing.
Right.
He turns heel, and it's just like all of us said it would be better.
Right. And it's like, and another thing that always got me was like, okay, so you don't want to turn him a heel, even though like the reason why he was so successful was because the Shield was awesome as a fucking heel act. You idiots! Like, just turn him back heel for a year and just flip it. Like this guy. Once he turns the corner to do something good, people are gonna love that guy. You could have saved 5 years on this. 5 years.
Roman Reigns, for maybe the first time ever, feels like the hottest thing in the business.
And you know what he's doing, right?
What?
He's being Brock Lesnar.
That's funny.
He's just being Brock Lesnar, except he's still Roman.
For the first time ever, it feels like he has the juice, and I feel like, ironically, and ironically, I felt like the look that he had on his face looked like Omar Epps after he threw Tupac to his doom, and then everyone was like, "You got the juice now," and then they put the lay on him, and I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm digging it." So,
what was I going to say? Oh yeah,
the tribal chief.
When it came to the lay,
respect the tribal chief.
Yeah, so when it came to the lay, right? You know what they got that from, right?
Nah.
I'm your king now.
Wow.
Black Panther. That's clearly when the Black Panther when they threw T'Challa ass over when Killmonger threw T'Challa ass over the cliff into the river, and then the lady put the necklace on him. That's exactly where that's from.
Funny.
It still worked. It don't matter where it came from. It still worked. It was a nice touch.
Respect the tribal chief.
Now, what I will say is this. If they have the fucking Usos as his henchman going forward after this, then like on some Nikki Bella, Brie Bella shit, I'm just gonna be like, this is the dumbest fucking thing ever. Like
they better not do that. Like
they better have a great look.
Or a great reason.
They better have exactly. That's what I'm good. They better have a great explanation for this and saying like this. Look, that's island rules. Like if you get beat, you gotta hop down. Like get down and lay down. Once it
like y'all saw what he did to me. It'd be like, this man making me do this. Like, I don't want to fight that man again.
Right. You saw they whoop my ass. I don't want no smoke. Right. Like, they better explain it. They better not just be like, oh, like, it's gonna be a match, and then if you lose, you're basically gonna be a slave for 30 days to your relative, and then after 30 days pass, it just never, they never go back to it ever again. Cause that's what they did with Brie and Nikki.
So when does Daniel Bryan get to fight this Roman Reigns?
I don't know, but they better save it for something special like Royal Rumble or WrestleMania.
Because we were looking for it. That's the match.
Yep. As always.
We'll see.
Or Big E or whatever babyface they can come up with, they don't fuck it up between now and then. But as far as the heel side, unless they fuck it up, they got themselves their heel main eventer for the next WrestleMania. Right there. If they don't fuck it up. And hopefully Roman Reigns is impressed upon them that he will go back home if they fuck this up. But yeah, they off to a really good start. So, like I said, we went through this.
I can leave Heyman. Like Heyman can go for me. To me, he's not even really needed.
I don't know. Well, the thing is, like, I don't think that's necessarily. I don't know what their act is. I don't know how their act is as far as on SmackDown. People, from what I've heard, You know, they can. There's two schools of thoughts. Like people were like, it adds to. Other people were like, it doesn't. So I don't know. I had to see it and be my own judge on it. But you know, you might be right. You might be right.
Yeah, just for me, I feel like Reigns to speak for itself. He's had all these years to tap into whatever he needs to tap into to be a dick to fans and in general. It feels like he feels like he's completely reborn in the best way possible. Yeah. And what do you know? What do you know? It's the thing that we all said for years.
Yeah.
And anybody that you knew that was saying it was never going to happen, it was, you know, he was selling too much merchandise. He should have been the face of the company. We were wrong for going against him as a babyface. Roll up in their mentions and ask them, how about it now? Yeah. And ask them like, you know, so what are you seeing now? Like either you were lying then or you're telling the truth now. Which one is it?
Oh, and also like the best part about that is like all this merch he sells, blah 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 blah. The top star, the biggest person they paid throughout this whole entire time has been Brock Lesnar, who overwhelmingly was a heel all those years while they were paying him, you know, dozens of thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars every appearance to be a heel. So why can't Roman Reigns do it? That never made any sense. Anyway,
also, this company doesn't survive on merch money. It survives on fucking television money.
Right. That too. And it's like, it's also, you know, it's a heat company. It's a heat company. Like, they're shitty at making baby faces. Why would you want your top star to be a baby face? I get traditionally why you want to do that. But this company runs away from everything that's professional wrestling. All they want to do is get fucking heat. So you may as well make your top star heel. Why do you think how many people in this company have ever said, I love being a baby face when they talk about their, you know, they do these behind the scene, you know, talks, talk about, you know, like talk about their time to business or their time in the company right now. Everybody loves being a heel. No one ever says they love being a baby face in WWE. Gee, I wonder why.
Except John Cena, because he loves the fucking kids.
Well, he's the last guy to make millions of dollars doing it too, by the way, as a baby face. So like, yeah, like that's that's the one guy. You notice he ain't here no more. That's the Hollywood. So, not to say there's a knock on Hollywood. Look, in fact, I can't wait till Roman Reigns leave this bitch and go to take his ass to Hollywood too. Look, I gave y'all how much time on my time and y'all screwed it up. Time to go, brother. Look.
Imagine if he did this 3 years ago.
Right. Or 4 years ago.
Good Jesus.
Yep.
Could have saved a lot of time.
Wasted time. Wasting careers. He's 34, 35 now. Anyway, so yeah, that's the review. The meat was trash, but the buns was excellent. So I guess it's funny because last week, between Wednesday and Thursday before we did the preview show, I watched the first 4 nights of the G1 in a 20-hour, 22-hour span.
Psycho.
And then we didn't even review any of it on the show. So
amazing how that works.
Yeah. So we're here now to talk about the first 4 nights. I have not watched any of night 5 yet. That's probably what I will do once I'm done uploading the show. But yeah. General thoughts on, the G1 so far?
It's been good.
Well, yeah.
But I think the G1s the last couple years are way out in front of it. Probably due to a lot of different factors.
Especially in the B block.
Yeah. B block's a borderline wasteland. You know, Tanahashi having to turn the clock back to carry Naito to his best match in ages.
His first great match since January 5th.
Yeah. You got Yano running around out there. I think the A block's been kind of interesting. You got Juice Robinson dressing like a idiot. I don't know what he's wearing. I think
he's dressed like a late 80s, early 90s WWF wrestler.
Right.
Like you can imagine him being like, I don't know what name would they came up for a Blues Brother gimmick back then in the new generation era.
Dax Harwood.
You're an asshole. Oh my god! But anyway, he comes out there. He's out here doing a little dance like he's fucking the Road Dog.
Yes. You got in the A block. You got Okada doing something goofy. I don't know what he's doing.
They're called rest
boring
holds.
people to death.
They're called rest holds.
Yeah,
that's what he's doing.
He's boring people to death.
He's slapping on rest holds on people, and like I don't know why he's been doing this for 2 years now. Wait, has it been no? When did he? The balloon gimmick was at the G1 last year. That was 2 years ago, right?
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah. So for the last 2 years, on and off, he has dabbled in trying to get a fucking choke rest hold over, and we keep telling him no, and he says, all right, well, I'll try this one this time. That'll kill the game. And we keep wanting to throw that back and say, no, get off your ass and wrestle. And he keeps refusing. He keeps doing it. So he's at this point now where like, he keeps doubling down. Cause this is the same shit he was doing, in the New Japan Cup. Luckily he had that match with Hiromu. Like, you know, he had a decent run New Japan Cup, but this, like he had the match with Ibushi, and like, you know, he had a 4-star match with Ibushi, and it's like, it's the G1. Last year, y'all had a damn near 5-star match, or some people probably get at 5 stars. So it's like,
yeah, I think it got 5.
Yeah, so for me, it's like, and then y'all went to y'all went to the Tokyo Dome, and y'all destroyed that 5-star match, right? So it's like, all right, so I was expecting another 5-star-ish type match.
Disappointing.
Yes. That's been
like no way around it.
That's been one of the most disappointing matches of the year, even though it was 4 stars. But so it's like, for me, it's like, all right, bro, like, I don't know what you're doing, like, with the Yujiro thing all summer long, that fucking sucked, and the King of Pro Wrestling thing, that was goofy, but, like, can we get the normal you, and we can stop with this nonsense? Cause, like, you know, that Ibushi match that he just had, like, it went like 22, or probably like 20, it went over 20 minutes, but it's like, they didn't get up and start wrestling until, like, the 20-minute mark. Like, they're so fantastic that, like, their last 5 minutes to finish the closing sequence of that was so great, but it's like, hey man, we talk about this a lot. Right, we talk about this a lot with, like, the Kenny and Hangman matches at the end, where it's like, at the end, they tried to save it at the end. Luckily, that match, like, was so, at the end, they tried it, but it's like, bro, I still got a whole bunch of, like, laying around with this rest hold. Stop doing this.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I felt about it. Like, just, he has to throw that out, because, like, when he doesn't do that, like, and he gets up and wrestles, he's still Okada. But I don't know why he's on this. I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know if he's tired. I don't know if it's bad conditioning. I don't know if he's just like, looks around and is like, well, it's my incentive. I'm not the champion anymore. They gave the belt to this fucker that doesn't try, so maybe if I don't try, maybe they'll give me the belt again. I don't know. But it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing, because it's like,
and people are coming for him really heavy right now.
And a lot of it's earned. A lot of it's earned.
So,
I know who will not stand for these rest holds and shit. His name is Tomohiro Ishii. There is not rest holds in Tomohiro Ishii's ring. Get your ass up and wrestle.
You know, a mere two, at least 2 4.5-star matches for in my book for Ishii so far. Him and Ospreay had a great match. I would have thought it would have been better. Personally, I would have expected a 5-star match. I only gave that one a 4.5. I think that was night 2 at the A block.
Okay. I forgot what I gave it. I have my rating somewhere, but I just watch so much damn wrestling.
Suzuki and Ishii was a war as well.
Yes,
I thought Jay White and Shingo was good to an extent, and then I got just really infuriated by like the ref bumps and Jay White being Jay White at the end.
So was the Jay White match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shingo losing a lot earlier. He did a loss to Jeff Cobb, lost to Wyatt, and I'm like, man, so hopefully he can pick up some wins, but hopefully this company realizes what they have in him. Maybe because he's an outsider, he is older. I believe Shingo's 39 quietly, or 38 quietly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, y'all could easily put that man on top. We ain't got to worry about nothing with him.
Yep.
But
yep, I agree.
You know, he didn't wrestle in the dojo, James. So I don't know. You know, I don't know how it's gonna go. I'm trying to think of any other A block stories that kind of jump out. Taichi, I'm you know, he's not knocking him dead per se, star ratings wise, but every time he comes out, I'm happy to see him.
I was more talking about like this is, you know, Suzuki and
him getting the win.
Yeah, he got the win over Suzuki, which that was surprising to me. And also that match, there was a point where they were fucking around and then they decided to wrestle at the end, which saved the match. Suzuki and Ishii, you mentioned it was a war. Oh my god. Like, what is it with Suzuki right now? What has gotten into that man where he decided, like, I'm just gonna come out here and we just gonna slap the shit out of each other and throw forearms, and like that's his tough old man match now. Like, don't get me wrong, like he's been doing that now, but like the submission specialist murderer, choke you out forever or put you in a leg lock forever. I don't know if he's put that to the side now, but like he's in never mode. He's still in never mode.
Yeah, he's having a great year, especially for somebody that's 52 years old.
Right.
For anybody in the world, actually, this year, he's been right up at the top. Is there anybody that kind of jumps out to you as an early favorite? Because I kind of have a guy, and I'm hoping they're going with him.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have anybody. I don't really have anybody. Who do you have?
Will Ospreay.
Oh, well, he beat Yujiro and then he beat Ishii, right? Well, I don't know the finish of night 5, so
I don't either yet. So
okay.
I think actually I do know the finish on that one.
All right, don't tell me.
But yeah, I think Will is going to come down to, you know, him cutting that promo that he cut on the first day. He said he was the best wrestler in the world, and he was so happy to be back. He's got Okada on the final night. You figure that they'll be battling for points.
Yeah.
He's no longer a junior anymore. I think the idea of Okada being in like the Tanahashi role last year is kind of appealing, especially when you're talking about Wrestle Kingdom, to where, all right, who does Okada wrestle? Well, how about Jon Moxley? That's a fresh match that would be, you know, worthy of
get
attention.
Into the country.
Well, he can get in. Like if Jay White and Will Ospreay and all these other people can get in.
Yeah, but they don't have. Yeah, but there's also the quarantine for 2 weeks, and he's a person that's on weekly episodic television in America.
Well, there is no Christmas episode. I know that. So he may be able to make it at a certain point to get to Japan, but
it'd be nice if like, you know, AEW said like, hey, let's tape some for your and help your old boy John out and let him get out there and let all the, you know, let the Jerichos and Moxies of the world and, Archers of the world. I don't know if he can go back or not. I don't know, but like, let the people that can possibly, go to Tokyo Dome come back and do their quarantine and do what, like, that'd be cool. I'd love to see like them back, but if it is at the expense of AEW, I don't think they go, but I would like, for them to, you mentioned there's a 2-week gap there. If they do some taping, they can make it work. They could.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think Will's somebody to watch. On the B block, of course, I don't know. Tanahashi already lost to Naito.
He lost
to Yano.
Bro. Does Hiroshi Tanahashi need to leave and start his own promotion?
So you'd be like Aja Kong or like fucking
Aja Kong,
Mako Satomura.
Aja Kong, Mako Satomura. Who else has done that? Jaguar Yokota, the Great Muta. Look, if it, who else? Taka Michinoku. Does a bitch need to leave and start their own promotion because they can't get booked right? Bro.
Ace Pro Wrestling.
Why not? The 1 in 100, the 1 in 1,000 wrestling promotion. Is it 1 in 100 or 1 in 1,000? I can't remember.
1 in 100.
Yeah, the 1 in 100 wrestling promotion. I don't give a damn, bro. He has that match with Naito, and it's like, this is great. It's not necessarily, we talked about the Suzuki Old Man Never match a little bit ago. Mm-hmm. Like, it's Tanahashi. It is Naito having the Hiroshi Tanahashi aging man knee match. It is so great. It's so great. Like I said, I could watch this dude do this for another 5 years, another decade, quite honestly. And he loses the match, of course. Great match. I think I gave it 4.5. And then let's go to the second night of the A block, night 3. And he's out here doing all of the goofy comedy with Yano. And then the match is where, like, they end up far away. It's a foot race and shit. And at the end, anyway, he loses to Yano. And I was like, bro, we doing Banana Pill wins this early in the G1. Stop this shit. Like, it's bad enough that I would
Yano undefeated.
It's bad enough that I watched the Grand Prix and I had to watch Konami lose to Def Yama-san, right? At the end to make the because she had got too far ahead in points, so you had to add a Banana Pill loss to make it all match up from last night. It was like, bro, we doing this early? Are you sure you
could getting this shit out of the way right now?
Are you sure you tabulate this right? I fucking hated it. It infuriated me. Look, look, you remember earlier you were talking about, in the year, you talking about, like, when they put the belt on Evil, you're like, man, Gato might be washed. You don't know when this shit can happen. It can be anytime. Yeah. When this shit happened, I was like, you know what? Fuck Gato. Rich Wright, get his ass out of here. I'm tired of this. Yeah, this man losing to Yano of all people.
This isn't the first time he lost to Yano. He lost to Yano, I believe, in 2015, the New Japan Cup first round, if I'm not mistaken.
Look,
did like a summer feud with him. It was weird, but
very weird.
Yeah, if it ain't Tanahashi, I don't really like anybody in the B block to win.
You just I just imagine it's not going to be Naito. So then it's like, all right. Who are you choosing? Sonata, Evil. See, the thing is, like, I don't think they would go with it. Maybe it's Kenta. I don't know. But then Kenta lost the juice. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird.
It could be Kenta.
It could be Kenta, but it's like...
they have him wrestle Will Ospreay.
There's clearly, like... It's almost like he clearly has something to prove in the G1 and then he's laid it down since.
Mm-hmm.
Or I take that back. Until the Tokyo Dome match with Goto and then he's laid it down since. Because that match with Naito immediately after at New Beginning, right? Was that New Beginning?
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
fuck it. Hiroki Goto fuck it. You know, Naito
he
wanted to get slick. Yeah. He was in the G1 finals in 2016. He's won the G1 before.
What year?
2008, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, shit, that was so long ago.
Maybe 2010 as well. He may have won the G1 twice.
All right, okay. Like, I don't, anything before 2015.
Yeah.
Cool. I never saw it. I'm probably not gonna go see it. But,
No, Naito was trying to sell out and say Goto's just a guy. Well, unfortunately, Naito, everybody can't just lose their way to the Tokyo Dome like you.
Yeah, another one. The rich stories they're telling with Gato right now, right? A bitch lose every important match for a whole year, and then he still gets. Did they ever explain what did he do? Like, you listen to Keepin It Strong Style on a weekly basis.
Nothing.
They never did nothing explain. They just gave him a shot just cause.
Bro, he beat Taichi at like Power Struggle, and then like all of a sudden, all those guys are in the ring together, and it was like. Well, Taichi was the barrier? Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know, man. Like, I still think the way that shit played out was whack. They obviously drew.
Right.
And it was a Tokyo Dome. It was going to draw anyway.
But it didn't draw because it's a good story. They drew because it's the 4 people. Or really the 3 people plus Jay White. But it's like, yeah, man, like, you could have done, you did a disservice to Naito getting in. Like, if that had been WWE that had done that for some type of double title 4-person tournament, and that was and the person that ultimately was going to win and got in that way, we would have gave them the business. You would have gave them the business, and granted, like we gave them the business back then too, but like it wasn't like there was a lot of us.
Yeah.
A lot of people that was watching New Japan is like, it's fine. I'm like, nah, bro, this makes no sense. Or this is
big cracks.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck Gato. Anyway, is there anything else you want to say about New Japan?
So this is the week where if you're gonna fall off during the G1, this is it right here. It starts getting tougher. The stay.
They go to Korakuen is Korakuen this weekend?
I would think it's on the weekend, this weekend, I would think.
Yeah.
But I've got 3 matches to watch from yesterday's show, and I'll be caught up. So
yeah. After the show, well, it's now 11:18, so I'll probably watch it tomorrow, but I'll catch up. I'll definitely catch up. Cause I'm not doing 4 episodes of that shit anymore. And like nothing is like, that might be another reason why, like, I'm not that crazy about the Wednesday shows that we saw this week, because I caught them today, or
like, bro, I really ain't got that much on AEW, and I didn't like the show.
The wrestling was bad, not bad, but like it was just mid. All of it was mid. There was not one exceptional match. There was not even a match I would even consider. I wouldn't even like recommend to saying like, yeah, here's a 3-star match for you. I thought all that shit was just there.
I like Kingston and Moxley, but
they hit each other. Yeah.
I thought the opener. Well, I'll go through this real quick here.
The opener sucked.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And I don't even know if I can even put that on Miro, because it's like Janela and Sabian and Sonny Kiss were all fucking stuff up or looking sloppy.
Everything all over the place.
I think I heard that Miro had got hurt at a certain point in the match too. Yeah,
he it was like he came down. I don't know if this was a work or if it was actually supposed to be there. Him and Kip Sabian, Kip Sabian did this thing where he was going to elevate over Miro to the outside of the ring, like get flipped essentially into Joey Janela, but like he doesn't actually flip. He just like falls on his head towards Joey Janela. Like,
oh, are you talking about like when they went over the barricade on the concrete?
Yes.
Yep. I thought he landed on his head too. Should have got a crash pad and retaped it.
Before I go all the way into it, I do want to talk.
You didn't get my NXT joke.
What? No. What did you say?
I said they should have he should have landed on a crash pad and they should have retaped it.
So AEW Late Night Dynamite was actually way better than the real show. Scorpio Sky and Ben Carter very good match, super work, and that hopefully Ben Carter can sign. Not looking good. We'll see.
Why do you say not looking good? What happened?
So the story on Ben Carter is apparently, he was trained by Seth Rollins. And he's one of the guys that has always seen WWE as where he wanted to be, kind of like a Jake Atlas type.
Or like a Seth Rollins.
Yeah, or a Seth Rollins type. And he has a lot of loyalty to Seth Rollins, apparently. So I think AEW's putting the full court press on him. Him being on that show was no accident. Like, they're trying to get him. They could still get him, but we'll see. I don't know why a 22-year-old wrestler would want to go into WWE right now. Like, there's just no, to me, like, you're not going to be doing anything for a couple years. But, hey, everyone.
How old is he?
He's 22.
At 22 years old, and you say, I don't know what he's going to do for a couple of years, you mean half a decade, right?
Right.
You don't actually mean a couple of years. He's not going to show up on the main roster 24. What is he, 6'4"?
No.
Oh, well, then hell no.
He's like 5'9", maybe.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely not going to be getting no call up in the next 2 years if he signs right now. Hell no.
But all these people have their own, journeys, and everyone can't sign to, as much as I'd like them to get Ben Carter, if he doesn't sign, hey, man makes his own choice. It's on him. But he also had another match on Dark the same day. Of course, the taping came out, him and Lee Johnson. That was better than the Scorpio Sky match.
Really?
Yes, I would highly recommend anyone check that out if you like fast-paced, quick wrestling from two young guys. I would love to see Scorpio Sky and Lee Johnson fight each other for the next 5 years. But
so Lee Johnson was a part of the MJF campaign, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You think they're going to have a match in, because he was kind of bullying Lee Johnson during the shit backstage. Like, do you think they ever have a TV match where they put him on there and they, they just beat him, have MJF beat him?
Maybe.
Okay.
Brandy Rose and Anna Jay, best Brandy Rose match you've ever seen in your life. And this match was awesome, actually. You didn't really expect much. But much in the way that Asuka and Zelina Vega, it just worked out right. This one actually was way better than that, because for being a inexperienced wrestler, Anna Jay is very poised. She knows where to be in the ring, and she seems like a ring general far beyond her years. Best Brandy Rose match I've ever seen. It had no business being as good as it was. Main event was Matt Sydal and Shawn Spears. This was alright as well. Sydal kind of got to redeem himself before eventually losing to Spears. But as far as the regular show, that tag match was a disaster. They need to rethink Miro's entire presentation from these first 3 weeks. I think that he doesn't know who he wants to be right now, and I don't know if anybody's thinking of ideas for him, because this is AEW. There's no writers. The wrestlers get a lot of control on how they want to present themselves. To me, I can understand you want to be fun-loving, you're a gamer, you're all this other stuff, but something's not clicking. I see the physique. I see, like, you're clearly in shape.
He's in great shape. He's in the best shape I've ever seen him.
Right. It's not like you showed up and you're out of shape and, like, not looking like you're getting it. So I think everyone just needs to, much in the way like other things AEW that haven't like gotten off to a good start, the brain trust needs to get in there with the wrestler, figure it out, just take it a show at a time, and then eventually he'll be back right. But right now, I think for 3 weeks they've wasted everyone's time.
Okay. Now, going back to the Kip Sabian pairing with Penelope and Miro. Okay. Can I put this on my list of things I never want to see again for the rest of my life? I never want to see Joey Janela, Kip Sabian, and Penelope Ford in any promo, angle, or anything involving television ever again. When he cut that promo, that pre-match promo that was aired during the entrances, I was like, this again? I thought that we all agreed that this was fucking awful and y'all killed it dead. Why are you bringing it back up?
Yeah,
and then the match stunk when it's like, this shit is just snake bitten. Abort. Never go to it again. Stay away. Far away. I never want to see them involved with each other doing anything of the sort ever again on screen for professional wrestling. Ever again. If they want to be friends and Twitch buddies or whatever else, or have some Twitch rivalry or whatever else, cool. Have them duke it out over fucking Fall Guys or COD or whatever video game they playing. Far as AEW television or Impact television or New Japan Strong or NXT or Raw or SmackDown or 205 Live, fuck off. Or even Game Changer. Don't even put it on his own damn show that he's even paying for himself. I don't want to see it.
Yep. This sucked. It went forever. I was looking at my watch. I was like, huh. But after that, we got Eddie Kingston. He cut a promo on Moxley. Told Moxley he sold out and became a sports entertainer. Sold his soul to the devil.
Yeah. All of it's the devil now. Jesus.
So
you saw Ryback also said that the world would be a better place if Vince McMahon died. It's like, yes. Bro, you just did this with Meltzer and you had to edit it. Like, you thought you didn't learn this lesson? You just did this a couple weeks ago.
You gotta stop this, man.
Stop saying the word, unless his name is Adolf Hitler, stop saying the word, or some type of serial murderer or rapist, stop saying that somebody will be, the world will be a better place if so-and-so, stop.
So they brought Kenny out. He joined commentary for Hangman Page versus Evil Uno. Clown again during the match.
Okay,
put Evil Uno in a body bag.
Yes,
like, bro, he's like, it's not just to cover up his hideous physique.
Yeah, like, that was off the rip because that was off the top of the dome too, because JR stupidly brought up, he's like, yeah, they're chopping right now, but the chops aren't as effective on Evil Uno because he's wearing the top. And then Kenny on key says, yeah, it's not just to cover up the chops, it's also to hide the hideous physique. I was like, God damn. And then, okay, so I watched this just, a few hours ago, and like I had the international copy, so I watched the commercial breaks. Like, bro, I imagine this show is much better without commercial break, or with commercial breaks where you don't have to, you just like get away from watching and go back. Like, these matches stunk. Like, going back, even going through commercial breaks, they were worse than actually what you got on TV. Anyway, at some point, Kenny said, I'm a body guy, I'm a physique guy on commentary. I fucking howled because it's like, Kenny, think of who he hangs out with that aren't body guys, right? It is just like, that's funny. Like, he's low key like ripping his homeboys. That shit was funny to me.
Yeah. The match was the match. Like, it was like this was nowhere near as good as Paige and Frankie, but
no, not close. Or Paige or any of the Hangman and Pac matches.
Yeah,
not close.
This was just kind of there. Paige got the win. After that, Shivani interviewed Matt Jackson backstage.
Well, hold on. One thing to note is that like the numbers in Dark Order were basically all on the ramp watching the match throughout, for the first half. And Kenny did mention that like if they were to get involved, he would actually take the headset off and fight with Hangman or whatever else. So like,
what a good guy.
It's a warmer. It's not just completely, I've ridden this dude off forever. It's just like, nah, bro. Like as far as being tag team, we're done. But like, I wish you the best. But like, I'm not going there with you. That's where they're at now. Last week I thought it was like, fuck this dude forever.
Yeah. So we'll see where it goes. So then Shivani interviewed Matt Jackson backstage. He said the fans may have noticed that him and Nick been acting out of character, and then all of a sudden he broke Tony Schiavone's phone and then threw some money at him or put some money in his pocket. I don't know what's up with the Bucks lately, but these are the Dick Bucks apparently. So
they're insincere baby faces.
Yeah. Then we got Brody Lee and Orange Cassidy for the TNT title. This stunk. So they did all that with Orange Cassidy and then gave him to Brody Lee.
Yeah.
On a platter. To do a clean job on TV to build up the return.
Outside of the first Jericho match, I think the biggest loser of the pandemic era has been Orange Cassidy.
Not Hangman, who was getting superstar reactions when this shit started.
Hangman can still have matches that are decent or even quality or even good, as we've seen over time in the pandemic era. Orange Cassidy doing his match to where he does the goofy comedy, he gets his ass whooped, people root for him to overcome, the heel gets cocky, and then he catches him slipping, and then the match goes from there. It is struggling without the crowd's reaction to all the stuff he does in goofy comedy in his matches, as opposed to, if he was doing a regular match. Like, I thought his match that he did that was pretty much a straightforward normal match either last week or the week before, or 2 weeks ago, 2 episodes ago, or whatever else. I forgot who that was against. I think he pretty much beat him quickly.
Angelico.
Yeah, like, that match was more effective than this. This match is like, he's goofing around. There's antics with Dark Order. Later in the show, we see Best Friends. So where the fuck were Best Friends to have his back? It was just not a good match. And then, like, once you see Best Friends show up later in the match, it's like, and also his friends didn't even give a fuck when to have his back during the title match.
Yeah, and then after the longest entrance of all time.
Well, hold on.
I was going to say the lights go out.
We are not going to skip past this one part. There is one redeeming thing in this match. At one point, Brody has the advantage and Orange Cassidy's laid out. He then tells John Silver, who is holding the belt, show him the belt. Silver climbs to the apron, faces the fans, and shows them the belt. They show a tight shot of Silver. All of a sudden, into this tight frame comes Brody Lee, and he shoves this small buff motherfucker off the cliff to his doom. I thought that it was the meanest, funniest, dickish move I had saw all week in wrestling. I fucking howled at the way he's abusing this little fucker.
Bro, the day they fight,
screamed, bro.
Oh my god, it's gonna be great.
It's like, bro, show him the title. Go to hell. Like, yeah. But yeah, getting back to after at the end, Brody does win. And then the lights go out.
Then the lights go out, and then a choir music starts, and then some more choir music plays, and then some more choir music plays, and then the lights, the video starts, and then you start hearing the music. It's still dark. They blow off more pyro than they've ever blown off in the history of the show. And then Cody comes out wearing all black with a bad dye job where you see the brown on the side still. And he comes out there and he wants to run it. He's back.
Why did he dye his hair black when he has brown hair? I don't get it. I didn't understand it. Like, did Cody think that, like, we forgot what his hair color actually is?
Maybe he's trying to get back to brown.
How do you get back to brown by dyeing your hair black?
Maybe the black will just fade out and then it'll just be more natural.
He look, for a person that's only 30, what was he, 34, 35, mid-30s?
Yeah.
For a person that's mid-30s, he looked ridiculous. Like, I'm looking at his hair and I'm like, bruh, this is like a Kevin Nash job. He looked like he had the Kevin Nash, the Bobby Fish, he like had the Just for Men in his shit. And I was like, what is going on? What's happening right now? Like, as far as the choir, like, I don't know. The only person that seemed to have really remembered, like, what that throwing music, or, you know, that he normally used to have, like, was Shivani. I was like, that's clearly the choir when he, you know, comes from the beginning for his music actually plays, like, and they were sitting there forever and they're like, oh, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. I'm like, it's Cody's choir shit. What are y'all talking about?
Right.
It's weird. It's really weird.
I was like, why didn't he just run out there? Of course, he had to do his entire entrance like he was Rhea Ripley. I was like,
I don't think he was out there to save Orange Cassidy as much as it was just to come back and upstage Brody. Yeah, I mean, whatever. He ended up beating the shit out of Alan Angels. He put him in a figure four, or he actually posted his knee twice and then put him in a figure four.
Very aggressive tactics from Cody. So, then
he had a brooch on.
Then the best thing on the show happened after that. We came back from commercial and Brody Lee was standing there with a mic.
No, he took a mic from somebody. He ended up like, give me that. Yeah, like they were going to interview somebody from the Dark Order. Anna Jay walks off and
Anna Jay grabbed the mic
and handed it to Brody. And then Brody was, you know, looked in the camera and then basically called Cody all sorts of names.
Yes. He said, what kind of a man was Cody for sending his wife and his brother to come do his dirty work while he was actually doing the work? And he was in a bubble somewhere. So what kind of man is Cody that his wife was posting thirst traps and calling Brody Lee daddy?
I had no idea what he was talking about. I was like, wait, what?
Yep. He pulled out a dog collar then and challenged Cody to a dog collar match, and he gave Cody a week to respond. And James, you already know what I'm thinking. Cody Rhodes may be tempted to bleed out, and he's running through another gimmick.
I love this promo until that man grabbed that collar and I was like, no.
Same.
Damn it. I don't want to watch a fucking dog collar match 2020. Leave that shit in the 80s where it belongs. Who the fuck is going to like this match except for Cody and Brody and Tony Khan and Josh Smith? Leave that 80s shit in the 80s, bro. I don't want to see that shit, bro. Have a match. Have a return match. Why can't Cody just have a return match? How many times have we seen babyface get their ass whooped by a heel and then they come back and have a competitive match and the story is, look at him overcome the ass whooping he got before. Look at him, look at the heart he has to fight his fears and no, dog collar match. Fuck. I don't want to watch no fucking, oh my god.
This man's gonna bleed out.
Bro.
Double
juice. The reason why Brody Lee is a great worker is because for his size, he can do things that big men are often told not to do, right? So what you're going to do is confine him they're going to chain him so where he cannot move around and show that his size and athleticism. That is literally de-emphasizing his strengths and probably exposing weaknesses. That's dumb. Go ahead, Cody. They're going to pay. Oh, well, he's going to bleed. Great. Fantastic. God damn it.
So, like, the hair will be red now. Like,
Great.
Yeah. I saw the dog collar and I was like, here we go. And it's amazing that you always hear, like, Cody's doing the best stuff in the company, you know, like he's, you know, the booking mind and all this other stuff. I'm like, I don't really know what the proof of this is. For one, seems like a lot of just, you know, all the great, like the trope gimmicks that you do, like, okay, I'm gonna get whooped. It takes heart to do that. I'm gonna do the big cage match. I'm gonna have my brother here, the wife, the interference. I've talked about this stuff over and over again. He's going through all the old gimmicks, like Dusty did, like going through all these gimmicks, and it's just like eventually, I think eventually he's gonna, you know, luckily he's an executive here, so he's always going to be pushed to a certain extent. But I think people are going to get tired of this shit. Like,
it's exhausting.
And to me, it comes back to, it's kind of unrelated, but how fresh Kenny Omega will remain and is right now going into singles, and he's not wasted a year of himself doing all this stuff.
That's
and
true.
The second he steps in, but Cody it's not even like, hey, you're doing too much. It's like, bro, we done blown past doing too much. We like on the other side, like the second win is coming.
Think of it this way. Think of how fast this shit's going, right? You mentioned all the stuff with all the betrayals he's had, all the angles that are done with family members, all the bleeding he's done in matches. Think of all the people that went with the US, not the US, with the TNT title match, all the matches he's had with people already, that are younger, that should be up and coming, that should be, mid-card, upper mid-card, maybe potentially, main eventers in the future. Like, he's already been there and done that, and we're not even at a year, of TV yet. We're close to a year. We're at like 50 episodes or 51 episodes, some shit like that. And the thing is, I'm just like, you mentioned it, right? Like, Kenny's fresher was like, yeah, he's also fresher because, like, he can just have a regular fucking match and not have to do all of this to try to keep up. Like, and this is when we talk about with Cody, is like, Cody has to put all this extra shit because he realized he has these shortcomings or whatever else as far as, or his idea for wrestling is just different. It's like, that's cool, bro, but you're also like, what is your plan 3 years from now once you've done all this shit and there's nothing left now? You're gonna do the second cage match, the third cage match, the fourth dog collar match. Eventually people are gonna get burned out by this shit. And like, I remember
we're calling it now, by the way.
I remember Semper Vivi months ago when he was on the show. He was like, he is burning through a lot of shit, and Semper Vivi was right.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, he was right. He is burning through a lot of shit right now, and like, now they have to go to a match with like the only fucking dog collar matches. Like, remember it was one Hammer Valentine and Rock and Piper, and it's like, bro.
And dog, that was like Starrcade 1.
Right.
Like,
and like, I can't, look, I'm sure Josh is going to yell at me about how great and how awesome this match was, but like, the only thing I ever heard people talk about that match is that like a motherfucker bled out of his ear because of a ruptured eardrum. And it's like, but what about the work? Oh. So, we'll see what they do, but like, I do not like the idea of Brody Lee is not allowed to jump and run around. That sounds dumb to me. A big guy that has made his money running and hitting will be confined to not run or hit or dive. It's just it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. If they want to pick any other 80s cosplay ass gimmick to pull out, go for it. But don't do that and then like, cut off the dude's ability. Like, cause this is what we're complaining about with, Keith Lee on the main roster. You don't do dives and shit or whatever else, or run around anymore. And they're doing it to Brody right now, for this one match at least.
So, I don't know when that's gonna be, but, we'll see. Maybe it's a pay-per-view match.
You think they'll wait that long?
Long way away.
That's a long, yeah. That's like a month and a half away.
Yeah. Cody stuff normally gets rolled out super early for the pay-per-view.
Yeah, you know what? He's probably going to fight all of the Dark Order to get to it in a similar fashion to how we knew what we were going to get with Jericho and Moxley. He had to go through the Dark Order for TV. And like, honestly, as a TV build, that's not bad. That's actually pretty good. So if they want to hold
fight
on for
Silver
that,
1 week, he can fight Allen Angels. You do a tag match, like have him pull somebody out and be like, do like a 6-man match.
He can not even that. He can take on the Beaver Boys with what's his name? QT Marshall, and then he can take on like the Dark Order, like Uno and
Grayson.
And Grayson, like with his
brother
Dustin, right? And then like, eventually, like, you get to that match for a rematch there in earlier mid-November on pay-per-view. Like, that would that would make sense to me, but it's like, they showed that dog collar and we're like 6 weeks away. I don't think they're going to hold it off for 6 weeks. I just don't.
Yeah, we'll see.
I will hope they wouldn't blow through this that fast. Because, he's dark hair, whatever else. There could be a turn, but it'd be a better turn if he's back and he's showing aggressive tendencies and he's getting his quote unquote vengeance on Dark Order. And then it's like you get close to it and it's like maybe this loss has altered him. He's acting crazy. He's wearing all black. His hair is black. This might be on some Venom Peter Parker shit where like the Dark Order has poisoned this man's mind. He's acting evil now, and he's gonna have to come to a decision come the dog collar match. Like that's how I would play it out. Even though it's a match I don't want to see, but like you gonna go straight to the rematch without going to pay per view, and just what happens after that?
He gets the belt back, and then he beats everybody. Oh man. Okay. Then Matt Hardy and Private Party came out. Private Party with the matching jumpsuits. Matt Hardy said he was attacked from behind last week. He used a lot of words, basically, and said someone with a mask attacked him with a pipe or bat, and noted Jericho was there after he was laid out. And then the Inner Circle came out with Jericho.
No. He laid out an elaborate whodunit, Rich. We're not going to skip past that. That was a whodunit angle he put out there. It could have been Jericho because of the baseball bat. It felt like I got hit with something metal, so it may have been that baseball bat because I saw Jericho. He said he also had crosswords with Brody Lee. He also had crosswords with MJF. I think he said he had crosswords with somebody else, can't remember. And the person was wearing a mask. So this could be some new heel faction. This could be somebody that this could be somebody that is going to be debuted that we don't even know it was yet. We don't know, but it's a whodunit. I think it's the first AEW whodunit.
I have to think about that.
I think so.
I'd have to think about that. So Jericho and the Inner Circle came out, and then they brought Sammy Guevara back, and then you get that moment of Hardy and Sammy Guevara back on screen.
Jericho said, "I hate you.
Yes.
You took out Guevara. You took him out the business. I think he said something along the lines of you took him out of AEW, you took him out of business. I don't know when he's gonna be back, except I know he's coming, he's back right now. Bro, I fucking howled. I was like, you fucking ham, you gimmick. He was like, he put it on so thick, like, he's gonna come back, he's not, I don't know, he's gonna come back, he's like, he's here now. It's like, why do you waste my time with this foolishness, Jericho?
So Matt Hardy then he challenged the whole Inner Circle, and then Quentin Cassidy was like, "Hey man, calm that shit down." And then they began to talk, and hey, at least look, these boys got to do some promos eventually.
I didn't think they were bad. I just thought
I didn't think they were bad. They weren't. I thought Cassidy was better than Quinn here.
I agree,
but these are young guys. They're 22 years old. They got to learn to talk on national television, and it's their real first promo that they've got to cut, I think. So hopefully they can continue to get those reps, because there's nowhere else for them to learn but national television at this point.
Yeah,
so,
it felt like Jericho fingerprints were all over their dialogue. Like when Isaiah Cassidy says to Jericho, what are you going to do when I beat you? Like, it's like, that's, I've heard Jericho use that one a million times. Like, that is a Jericho line right there. I don't know how much of it was, but like, that is a Jericho go-to. So,
right. It's the biggest match of your life. Shit like that.
But what happens if you lose?
Right. Like, nothing. Okay. Like, the business continues.
Right.
Like,
yeah, I will say I did like when Matt Hardy called Jericho an asshole. He's like, man of many names. He's also an asshole. I thought he was gonna call him an ass milk or ass clown. That was what he used to call himself, ass clown. I thought he was gonna call him ass clown, but he's called an asshole. And then Shivani and Ross were like, is that gonna end up on the shirt on WWE or AEW shop.com? I was like, I thought like, if they put out the asshole Chris Jericho shirts, they probably would sell.
Probably. Cassidy said he's going to make Jericho his lay champion, bitch, whatever that is. So they've got a match next week. So then the snoozers came out. Excuse me. FTR was out here with Tully, and Tully started cutting a promo, but Tully like forgets what he's saying halfway through.
That's cool though. Did you see Bald staring at Tully though?
I didn't.
I'm telling you, bro. Every time there's a Tully promo, watch Bald. Bald stares at that man with the love that a lot of wives and a lot of husbands do not feel from their spouses. I'm telling you.
Tully said that the tag team matches are normally 60-minute time limits, but they're going to have a 20-minute time limit on their matches. And he and FTR get to pick the opponents. Their brandness is the weekly brush with greatness. If they then go to a draw with somebody, FTR will rule the winners. I don't know. I think this would be more effective if it was 10 minutes. I don't like 20 minutes is a long time in television time, especially bell to bell.
Well, I don't think they're going to be wrestling too many people 20 minutes anyway. And like, isn't the normal AEW Dynamite match a 20-minute time limit anyway?
I believe it is, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's fine. It didn't really bother me. The only thing that I didn't really quite get is what is supposed to be the heat for if they go to a tie and still a win, because like I don't care. Like, it doesn't really factor into wins and losses when you already are the champion. Like, what are they jockeying for with that? Like, is it supposed to be like, well, since it's a tie, it's a win, and then you get the winner's purse? Because like,
I guess they're supposed to just get us pissed that they're winning matches but not actually beating anybody. I would think that's the idea of the work.
Right, but like also, but it goes back to the thing, like, they're probably going to do one or two draws over this entire title reign. Like, unless they're the champion for like a whole year, they're probably going to do two or maybe one or two draws over this entire title run. So like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah. The best friends then came out.
It's cool. I want to see them wrestle. I want to see them wrestle the whole team, because like, honestly, like, you know, aside from that pay-per-view match, like, I like their matches. So it's fine.
Best friends came out, and I gotta admit, they were a little bit more over for me than they have been after that parking lot match. I was excited to see them out here. It felt like bigger. And they acted like they wanted to, FTR acted like they wanted to run it. Best friend said, hey, you got your red panties on, let's run it. We thought we were about to get the impromptu match, but no, they rolled out of the ring. None of that shit. And they said, you know, take a couple weeks and heal up and maybe call Tully and we'll set something up. Then we've got Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida against Ivelisse and Diamante. This was there. Nothing really notable here. Shida and Rosa got the win. It's one of those matches where like, when people, this is a match for people that say that like, this person or matches these days, all of this is dangerous or hard hitting, but like the wrestling's not really there. Like, this is like one of the few exceptions when people actually call matches great. I'm sorry, this is one of the matches where it's like, nah, that ain't true, because this match was hard hitting and all that, and no one really liked it. So, like, I don't want to hear that shit about, like, you know, when people talk about, you know, like Nick Aldis, like, you know, they just hit each other hard. You're on fetishizing hyper violence. It's like, nah, bro, that match was hella violent. Wasn't good. Yeah.
Sometimes the wrestling matches wasn't good because the wrestling match was good. That's kind of how it goes, bro.
You know, it's allowed. It's allowed to not be good because of the wrestling. So Shida pinned Diamante. After that, Dasha was backstage with Jericho. He said, Cassidy is going to be, actually, this is one of the best things on the show. Cassidy's going to be a big star one day, but not next week. He said next week he's going down when he faces Le Champion. Then MJF came out there and they did their mutual appreciation for each other until they then say, why'd you call me a loser at the same time? And they both made up comical lies with great comedic timing, and both lied to each other several times. but displayed their on-camera chemistry anytime that Jericho and MJF have gotten together from the start of the promotion. It's been awesome.
Yep. They're 3 for 3 now, right? I think it's three times. Yeah, 3 for 3. Like, they screw after MJF screwed Cody after the last pay-per-view, and right here, like, that's got to be where they're heading for the next pay-per-view.
Interesting. So they announced Jericho and Cassidy next week. Britt Baker returns to action. Glad to see Britt back. Ricky Starks and Darby Allin is next week.
About time.
FTR and SCU and a Jon Moxley appearance were advertised for next week's Dynamite. If it looks kind of light there, I'd be remiss to mention there was an outbreak between the companies last week. I will not divulge all the information that I'm aware of, but wrestlers be hanging out. Apparently, that's what the story is.
Mixing.
Mixing. Wrestlers be mixing with each other, and both locker rooms got hit. So if it looks like a light show, yeah, there's probably a reason for it. So if there's people missing, that you're like, oh, why wasn't such and such here? Maybe, Then they also announced a 30 years of Jericho celebration for October 7th's Dynamite. This should be like, how many cool things they could do with this? Like, can you get like I wish they could get like Ultimo Dragon here. Dean Malenko already works for AEW, so like have Malenko and Jericho have a moment together. Hell, like it's hard with Jericho because a lot of his the people that he was tied with, they're in WWE or they're under Legends contracts or WWE or stuff like that. So I think thinking outside the box, like can you get Gato and Jado to send like a hello to him or something, Will The Rock? How about The Rock? Can he send something for Jericho or John Cena or something? The Rock
said that he was sending something for, I think it was who was
Shamrock?
Yeah, Shamrock for Impact, right? So
yeah.
If he could send some shit for Ken Shamrock for Impact, I mean, I'd imagine he could send it for Jericho. Obviously, it would piss off WWE a lot more politically if it's AEW for AEW, obviously, because there ain't nobody watching Impact except for Caleb and Josh too. But yeah, and also Sandy. So, but yeah, maybe we'll see. Rock in the Middle of piss people. Rock in the Middle of pissing a lot of them off right now. So maybe he's up for it. We'll see.
What'd you think about that? I was like kind of shocked because I'm like, damn, like how fucked up Trunk about to be to make The Rock pick a side.
Well, it didn't surprise me because The Rock had this video promo weeks ago when the COVID shit had started breaking out, when he was like, "Where's our leader right now?" Right. So that was already happening. So for him to then, that's more like a follow up. Like what I'm saying is him being, endorsing Biden, Harris, is only surprise for me for the fact that he actually hopped into politics and weren't he showing that he's going to do some campaign for himself. But as far as him being off the Trump shit, we kind of already knew that, as much as he was ever going to tell us. Yeah. But I gotta tell you, Twitter, I didn't see
They were upset.
I saw some of the tweets and I was like, oh, y'all didn't know. y'all thought he was being, it's the thing when it comes to, black entertainers is y'all think that the ones that are apolitical because they don't want to go, talk about politics in the way that y'all prefer not to talk about politics. It's nah, they're trying to get this fucking money.
this
and,
bad.
And they realize that y'all will get uppity if they express how they really feel because y'all don't really care about us. And Rock knows that. And then Rock brought his beige ass out there and said this he's gonna be fine because he's in Hollywood, but like, you know, y'all better check on his Ford endorsements. Y'all better check on them endorsements because he was getting a lot of endorsements that were based off the apoliticalness and based off of, you know,
hey, that man was out there with Under Armour, with like the flag, like the team bringing stuff, like rock, like brands, stuff like in a certain way.
Yes,
where
there's a reason why they love The Rock.
Yes, he's been getting it for a long time.
Right. So, like, you know,
Vince got to be furious. Oh, Dwayne, Dwayne, why didn't you call me?
I don't know if he'd be furious. I think that, I don't know. I don't know how Vince would feel. I mean, obviously, you know, the joke is obviously, you know, huge Trump donor. He's, you know, you know, he's running. He's still able to run his fucking shows in Orlando because he, you know, gave all those $1 million to that Trump PAC. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know.
Yeah. But back to Jericho, I think they can do like a lot of cool stuff for his 30 years in the business. He actually is releasing the list of Jericho, which is a thing. If you've read any of Jericho's books, he's, from the time he's entered the business, he's been keeping like a list of every single match and opponent that he's had, like the date, who he wrestled, and as well as like, you know, when it was. So he's up to like, I think just under like, I don't know how many matches at this point, but he's going to be releasing
like 2,000 matches.
Oh yeah, he's well over that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's just under 3,000 matches. So I think he is doing some type of podcast for people that pre-order the book early, that are gonna, and the gimmick was like comment a random number between 1 and whatever that 2,000 number was, and then I'll tell a story about that match or whatever. And I'm like, this man, like, and I always wondered if he would release that list, and sure enough, Chris Jericho, the Ultimate Hustler, does. So.
Yeah, looking at the cage match, he's at 20. He's like damn near 2,400 matches.
Yeah. So that should be interesting. I wonder what they're going to do, because I think they're going to want to knock this shit out of the park, and it's like they're branding the episode as that. So
yeah, and you know, in similar fashions too, when they had the Memphis show, like, you know, they'll do it right. I imagine, I find it hard to believe they would not do this justice.
Right.
Like, you know, old timers, when it comes to, you know, the memories and history of professional wrestling, they're really respectful of that. So I think they'll do this well with one of the all-time greats. Yeah.
You know, Lance Storm, Lance got to send a video to, you know, Thrill Seekers.
Yeah.
You know,
look, now,
you think
is he furloughed or unemployed? Is he furloughed in WWE or unemployed? I don't remember.
Furloughed. He's back on F4W now.
I know. Okay.
Or no, he's unemployed.
Okay. So yeah, he'll send it. Yep.
You know, will Cornette send anything for Jericho?
I don't think that video request will be sent. So no.
Then after that, we got the AEW World Title match. Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. I liked this match. I thought it was very physical. I thought Eddie Kingston's chops made Jon Moxley's chops look like a child's. He chopped the shit out of this man. He suplexed him, and it was just very physical. And then he kind of just caught him at the end. So, and he got the Bulldog choke for like submission win. I kind of like the flash finish aspect of it here. And the thing is, like, you know, Kingston didn't like really tap or anything, but the ref called for the bell.
You know what? Okay, so two things. I like the match. I don't love it.
His chops.
Yeah, I did like Kingston's chops. I'm concerned that he is just a brawler and is not actually has anything from a technical standpoint. I wonder. I don't know this, but like, from what I've seen, all he has is for you is brawling. And that's fine. It did at points feel like two white guys doing strong style. And I did like the finish. I do like this is, I think, the second time Moxley broke out the bully choke. It was like, it's funny because like Moxley's the world champion, but he's out here doing like the Brian Kendrick captain's hook shit for finish. But yeah, it's a cool, like, you know, last ditch effort finish that, you know, will put someone away. So like, you know, the more he uses it, it'll be more effective in the future for eventually when someone like survives it, whatever that is. But yeah,
right. Not the match. Worst show.
Not some. I think it's one of the weaker shows of AEW, but yeah.
Like if there's 5 levels, this is probably like top of level 2, very bottom of level 3, I would say.
I think that's probably fair.
So, anything on, before we, you know, speaking of level 2, level 3, you know, I've got, God. Always keep the level completely leveled, you know, when it comes to, that's right, the manscaping. So, you already know what it is. We are partnered with Manscaped, and that's who's presenting this here show to you guys for a great deal. And you'll be able to save 20% off on your order. You'll get free shipping as well. With the best in men's below the belt grooming, Manscaped offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over their technology developments to provide you the best for your grooming experience. And this is the Lawnmower 3.0, so the third level. As I was mentioning before, I knew I had to work it in some way, but trim that junk, take care of it. You know, what is it? We're going into October, so the holidays are coming right around the corner, you know, and you got to make sure that, you know, if you giving a gift, you know, you need to go ahead and make sure your gift is properly, you know, taken care of there. So get 20% off, free shipping with the code SUPLEX at manscaped.com.
Have you no shame?
None.
Oh boy. NXT. I thought NXT had a great main event. But pretty much nothing else was. Everything else was just there as well. But the main event was great. First match was the Women's Battle Royal #1 contendership match. They started in the ring with
pulling people off the street for this one.
Oh yeah, Brandy Lauren, who y'all mentioned that y'all have interacted with, she was in this match. And then there are a few other people that were like from what I could tell when I looked at their at the cage match from like the Florida Indies. One person Avery. That like recently got signed. Yeah. Oh, that was a different Avery. That wasn't like the Avery that did the Grand Prix last year. That was a different Avery.
Yeah. That's okay. That's Avery from around here.
Gotcha. Okay. Because when I heard the name Avery, I immediately looked at it. I was like, no, that doesn't look like that Australian woman at all. Yeah, so they basically pulled out. Keep in mind, like last week, they had the graphic in like mediums on it. So is Mercedes, and then you see the match, and I'm looking for them, and they're not there.
Nope.
Yeah, Reckoning and Retaliation are on Raw. They're now. They're no longer in the fucking NXT anymore. Sad shit. So yeah, like everybody's in the ring pretty much, like the whole entire women's roster plus jobbers, and then out comes Candice LeRae, and then out comes Rhea, and then it's just a standard match where battle royal where like everybody is pretty much waiting for Rhea or Raquel to throw them over the top. Rhea had this elimination where she basically picks somebody up in like the trying to think what position it would be. Basically has them like, imagine if you're going to somebody I think it's a inverted atomic drop. Which one's inverted atomic drop? When they're facing you or when it's back to back or back to or the stomach?
When they're facing you.
Facing you. So okay, so a regular atomic drop position set high on the shoulder, carries her over the shoulder like a barrel, and then throws her over the rope, and she, as she's falling, her face grazes the barricade. It was brutal. I don't know if it was on purpose. I hope this woman is okay, but it also added to the aura of Rhea Ripley being a badass motherfucker. She threw this woman and didn't give a fuck where she landed. So eventually, the Giants lock up after throwing like 8 women over, and then Raquel gets Rhea in a electric chair position, takes her to the ropes. Rhea grabs the ropes and, head scissors, hurricane, whatever you're going to call it, both of them over the top, and they both get eliminated. And once that happened, they got up and I was like, they're about to brawl to the back like 2 giants in a Royal Rumble. They started brawling, and then the refs got in and broke it apart. 2 thumbs down.
They fighting like Jim Duggan and Big John Studd.
Bruh, I was so upset that they didn't let them just brawl to the back. They split them up and then they walked away on the separate sides, separate exits. I was like, let them brawl to the back. Let them get their Big Show and Undertaker on. Anyway, you end up with the Kofi Kingston / Naomi Great Escapes part of this proceeding came from our Casey Catanzaro. Casey got thrown over the top, and she landed on the barricade and hung on the barricade. Actually, that's her second escape. Her first escape was she got thrown over the top and she landed on her back with her feet up and kept her feet up. So
that's so lame.
I agree. So then what she decided to do was she rocked herself to a headstand and then got her feet onto the apron and then grabbed her feet onto the bottom rope, and then she did a sit up and then got herself back in.
That part was not lame.
Right. And then her second elimination escape was when I forgot who it was, threw her over the top rope. It was on the apron. She ended up over the top on the apron, got bumped off, and she ended up landing on the barricade. And she basically gets up on the barricade and uses the plexiglass that you find out the plexiglass is not stable all the way at the top. It actually flops and sways at the top. And she's trying to maneuver to get to the steel steps. And at times, when she gets to the middle of, between, where the wood supports are, the shit flops over the top, and she's like, oh, like this shit can turn into a botched spot at any point in time. She ends up making it to the steel steps, and then Indy Hartwell is basically on the back apron, and then basically shoves her off again. So she's there, and then Kaden gets eliminated by Casey. So I'm just like, I take it back. The second time, she ends up back on top. After she tries it and then Indy throws her off, she ends up back in the same situation she was. She got herself out of. She tries it again. This time she's like, well, I can't do it because Indy will throw me out. So then Kaden ended up outside on the apron, and then she tries to reach to try to use her to try to grab each other and then jump, and then basically slingshot her over to the apron. And while she's trying to help her friend, she gets eliminated, and then after she just gets up and helps her friend and helps Casey get in. And I'm just like, damn, that's what they doing to her. That's what they doing to her. She's just there to help. She's there for support for her friend, even to the detriment of her own damn ambitions. Great.
See how they be doing baby faces in NXT,
right? See how they be doing black friends in WWE. So,
Support.
Right. She'd be the first one dead if this is a horror movie. So she lasts a little shortly after that, and then Casey would get thrown out. I think the final four was Shotzi, Dakota, Candice, and I can't remember who else. But the final three was Shotzi, Dakota, and Candice. Shotzi throws out Dakota after Dakota and Candice team up on Shotzi. Then Shotzi gets Dakota eliminated. Actually, there's a great spot where great shot when once Raquel got eliminated, they showed Dakota's face, and Dakota was shooketh. She was like, "Oh my god, the person that wins all my matches is gone now. I'm about to lose." And sure enough, she was right. Dakota, I think, goes for the corner kick, and Shotzi ducks it and throws her over the top. So then it's just Candice and Shotzi. They both end up outside the ring on the steel steps. Candice ends up basically where like her bottom foot is basically like almost about to hit the floor on the bottom step, and then Shotzi makes a move. Candice ends up on like with her back on the steel steps and basically like monkey flips her off the top of off like the second step to the floor for this bad nasty bump, but a great finish. I mean, it was an okay battle royal, but like I really liked the finish. They had stories throughout, but like I'm not going crazy for this match. I'm only giving it 3 stars, but it was fun while it lasted, and the things that it was more story driven. Obviously, it was a long angle. So I'm trying to think what happened after that. Oh, I remember now. So we ended up getting a post-match promo with or not post-match, but after the match we get a promo from Damian Priest. Priest talks about how he has a match with Gargano. He talks about I'm going against basically the person that built this promotion or this brand or whatever. And he says that he's gonna beat the dude. And then like after that he said to the interviewer, you did really good at this. Hopefully I see you at the after show party. That man is hitting on all of the female interviewers. He's still doing this.
That man wants to fuck the interviewers.
Yes.
A hero. I love the gimmick. God.
So then we get a backstage skit with like Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, Danny Burke, Raul Mendoza, and Fabian Eichner, with Fandango dressed as Sherlock Holmes by a whiteboard. And he says he has an algorithm. Sorry?
Cop.
Yeah. And he says he has an algorithm. So you see names scattered together, and like they're not their actual names. Like he called Bobby Fish Billy Fish and other stuff. So all of a sudden Regal walks up and he's like, "What the hell is going on?" And then this nigga Fandango tries to talk to Regal with a fake British accent, and Regal says, "Knock that shit off." Like you will not clown on my accent. I refuse. And basically, what he said was, what it came down to was, hey, you, the fan, or you may or may not know this, but like, there's a COVID situation and people had to sit this out. So, basically like one half of all those 4 tag teams between Legado del Fantasma, Lorcan and Birch, Undisputed Era of Roddy and Fish, and, I'm blanking on the 4th tag team. Who was? Oh, and Bartel and Eichner. Y'all two of y'all pair off, and then the winners of this all-star tag match will have your tag partner show up next week, and then y'all will be in a number 1 contendership match. So it is,
This reminded me when Booker T was teaming up with Sting to get a title shot for Harlem Heat.
So, it is Birch and Roddy versus Eichner and Raul Mendoza. So, after that, we end up getting Tommaso Ciampa versus Atlas. It is very similar to what they did with Ciampa earlier in the year with what's his name? Oh my God, All Day from Atlanta.
Austin Theory.
And where like have a first match, beat the shit out of him, have a return match, is more competitive, but Ciampa still wins. It's a short match. Ultimately, Atlas has him reeling until he goes for his finish that, the cartwheel DDT. And as he goes for the cartwheel off the top rope, Ciampa kicks his hand, he crashes to the floor, throws him between the ropes and hits him with his hanging DDT for the win. There's also a point in the match where the first match, Ciampa, after he beat him viciously, basically gave him the catapult underneath the apron, so his neck landed on the support beam that holds up the ring. They teased that spot where Atlas was going to give it to Ciampa early in the match, at the very beginning of the match. And the ref said, "Don't do that, I'll DQ you." And I was like, when would that ever be a DQ in a wrestling match where you catapult somebody into something and it's into part of the ring and it's a DQ? That has never been a thing ever.
Yeah, man, they making up new rules all the time, man.
Right. Yeah. Meanwhile, I was like, and I was thinking like,
remember when they broke out that joint where, you only have a certain amounts of saves in your tag matches.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Like, nigga, this ain't the NWA.
Right. Oh, so am I allowed to jump over the top rope now or no? Or throw somebody over the top rope or no? But anyways, like, for me, it's like, okay, so I'm allowed to, and I always do this with wrestling matches or WWE matches because they always change their mind on what's what, right? So I'm allowed to neck somebody via I'm allowed to neck somebody in the corner if I wanted to, the corner of the steel step if I wanted to, and that'd be cool. But I can't catapult somebody neck first to the actual ring. The steel steps aren't even part of the ring. I can choke slam somebody or put somebody through a table. That's the announce table. But if I pull up a folding table and set it up and then powerbomb somebody through it, that's illegal. That's dumb. I've always hated that.
New rules.
Arbitrary rules. Anyway, we end up getting this vignette for Ridge Holland, showed some pictures of him beating all kinds of ass on the I guess it's called the pitch, the rugby field. Talked about how tough he is, and because I played he said, hey, I played the most dangerous sport known to man, or something like that, the most dangerous sport there is. I'm like, fighting is a sport, but my guy, whatever.
You play boxing?
Yeah. Then they showed a video package with the 5 competitors, like for the gauntlet match. It was funny because I don't know if you ever seen any of these Cameron Grimes vignettes when he's like, quote unquote, like by a river or Lake Cunny's promos, but they botched it. Like, basically where they're shooting these things are like out back by like some retention pond. That's basically what because bro, they did this one shot and you can see like a building in back. I'm like, bro, I'm from Florida. I know what that is. That's a retention pond you buy, bro. That's not no river or creek. This ain't the backwoods. They just but he did his normal thing. I'm going,
They're going
I'm going to the top of the moon. All of that. They showed Kushida doing kickboxing. They showed, I think they showed Thatcher. They showed Thatcher doing a catch clinic on some poor sap. And as far as O'Reilly, they showed Bronson Reed lifting weights, and I for Kyle. I think they were showing him doing jiu-jitsu. I can't remember. But yeah, that was the vignette. It was just showing like this is these guys in their elements, and you know they're about to have a great match. So, we end up getting that tag match with all the one half of tag teams. Match is okay. They move them at a fast rate, but like, okay, so because of the COVID situation, there were no fans. Mm-hmm. But they had audio tracking, but it's like every time you show a shot, like I can see there's no fans behind the plexiglass, so why are y'all even playing like boos and cheers? Like, it'd been better if y'all just went back to no fans like I did before y'all showed, before y'all had, people beat on the plexiglass, but whatever, plexiglass. So, the match was fine. It wasn't nothing to write home about, but it was a well-worked match. It had no emotion in it. I think Burt pinned Mendoza. So then we end up getting Theory getting ready for his match with Damian Priest. He's being a dick to I believe it's the same interview lady that Priest was hitting on earlier in the show. Johnny walks up and says, "Hey man, I know mentioning something about him being young, saying, I see you have some talent, mentions that, like, there's opportunity. I think he said something along the lines like, look, man, like, if you soften them up for me, I got some, for you. Like, as far as, like, some type of opportunity or, I don't know. He offered him, he offered him something. Don't do that. You're going to say something off color. Don't do that. Don't do that.
This man about to, I ain't
don't do it. Don't do it. I'm gonna stop you right now before you even say it. You gonna say that man's a cuck? Don't do that. Don't do that.
No, I wasn't gonna go there. I was thinking more like pimping.
Wow. Anyway, they go to commercial break and come back, and it's Priest versus. It's Priest versus Theory. They have a standard match. It's okay. It's not as good as the Thatcher and Priest match from last week, but it's okay. At some point, they end up outside, and Damian Priest ends up giving Theory this a razor's edge onto the apron. It wasn't like the Kevin Owens apron bomb. He more or less like laid his whole body across the apron as opposed to just like part of his back on the edge. So it's a safer way to do a bump that you think of just like, oh, that's dangerous. So hopefully no one has to, fuck up their back and killed. Then we end up getting, so he celebrated after he won, Damian Priest. And then Gargano ran into the ring from the side of Damian Priest, where Damian Priest could see him, and then surprised Damian Priest with a super kick. So, like, we're back to the Metal Gear Solid, where, like, the wrestlers only have a 45-degree field of vision, and it's like, I fucking hate that so much. Anyway.
They got to do that to keep up with the cameras.
Oh my God. So then, we get this vignette of somebody that alludes to saying they used to be in WWE and used to be a champion, and they're back to win back what they've lost. And they put up the date of October 4th, 2020. So I think that is next Wednesday, right?
I'd have to check on that.
Hold on, let me look right now.
I wonder who.
No, that is the date of the takeover, I think. So October 4th. So that's Sunday.
Bo Dowell's coming home?
Oh, fuck. Oh, my God. Alright, let's do this. Let's do this. It's not going to be it's not going to be, what's his name? It's not going to be Seth Rollins. It's not going to be Big E. It could be Bo Dowell. Bo Dowell's got fired, right?
No.
He wasn't let go in the furloughs?
Was not.
Cronyism. Nepotism. Anyway, after that, it damn sure ain't gonna be Pac. Damn sure ain't gonna be Pac.
Oh, no.
Damn sure ain't gonna be Sami Zayn. Damn sure not gonna be Kevin Owens. Balor's already here. It wasn't Nakamura because it was in English. Not gonna be Samoa Joe. That man is not finna start taking bumps in NXT when he can get these checks while just sitting here talking about wrestling. Oh God, it might be Bobby Roode.
Could be.
It's damn sure not gonna be McIntyre. Wasn't Andrade, spoke too good English for that. And then everybody else has been champions since that are still there except for like Aleister Black. Only the person, so it's either Bobby Roode or Aleister Black.
Or Bo Dallas.
Bro, if it's Bo Dallas, bro, oh my fucking God.
Bo leave.
Oh my God. That'd be awful, bro. Oh my God, it'd be awful.
I think you hope for Bobby Roode. And I don't know if you actually hope for Bobby Roode because of like, you know, he doesn't really fit the working style down there right now.
Right. Like, the era changed once he left.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't be fucking Bo Dallas, please. Please. Okay.
Maybe it's Ricochet. You know, how about the North American title? You're muted, James.
It'd be hilarious if it was Ricochet. It would be. Like, from a tragic, like, you know, tragedy plus time equals comedy. Like, yeah, that would be funny. Like, a year from now. Not now. End up getting a vignette from Swerve. Swerve says that, like, you know, you may have beaten me in our title match with a loaded mask, but, you know, I've beaten you twice. I've pinned you twice. I pinned you in the Cruiserweight G1 shit that we did. I also pinned you in that tag match we had a few weeks ago. I want another shot, and I want you to leave Legado del Fantasma the fuck back. Have a one-on-one match. Be a man. He didn't say be a man Hulk or that, but I'm just, you know, that's basically what he was intimating. And then we ended up getting a squash match from Rich Holland, squashed some dude named Antonio DeLuca. He pounced him once. He hit him with a bunch of, you know, suplexes or whatever else and got the pin.
I'm shocked that man got back on TV ever
after
again.
dropping Johnny on his head.
Mm-hmm.
and could have broke his fucking neck. Yeah. So they interviewed EO backstage and asked her about Candice, and she said, like, I've never liked Candice, which is like, that is clearly not true. She was helping her fight. She was helping her fight for fight off Baszler Goon. So like a year and a half ago. That's bullshit. Candice Candice walks up and was like, I heard you talking about.
Don't you know if it happened on NXT before it went on the network or on national television, it did not happen?
If you say so. So Candice walks up and said, I heard my ears are burning. I heard you. And then like EO cusses her out in Japanese, and then Johnny was there, and Johnny was like, I don't know what you said, but I don't like it. I was like, God damn it. And they start arguing. All of a sudden, like, they're by a curtain, that curtain opens up, and all of a sudden a big fucking tan forearm comes through. I'm sorry, a big olive forearm comes through and rocks Johnny and Damian Priest for that receipt from that super kick earlier in the show. And they all get broken up, and Johnny's laid out. Later in the show, Regal announces that they're going to do the champions versus the Garganos next week on NXT. So that should be fun. They also announced that they're doing.
Somebody got to bring gold to the Gargano house and keep it.
I think they're going to go home again empty-handed. They're going to go home with none but they love for each other again. So they announced next week is going to be Shotzi versus Dakota Kai off a play of Shotzi eliminating Dakota, and Shotzi's going to probably beat Dakota and, you know, further elevate and further, you know, now that they got that title match out the way for Dakota and that takeover out of her, they can move her back down where she belongs.
So how long before Shotzi turns?
Oh God. I don't think that's gonna happen.
All right.
I don't think it's gonna happen. Oh, sorry, I got to mention this. Before the match, the Battle Royal happened. The Women's Battle Royal. They showed backstage footage of Tegan grabbing her knee on some Nancy Kerrigan shit, and she was like, "I don't know who," and like people, and then like all of a sudden, as the ref is like trying to help her out, you see Candice with one of those chests with wheels on it and rolls it right into her knee. So ain't no speculation of who done it or whatever else. Like Candice took her out and put her on the shelf for what will be, probably a year.
So NXT avoided the yearly whodunit.
Yeah, they avoided that. Ain't no point of doing a whodunit when it's like that's just a year from now, a year out. So then we end up getting. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, what terrible luck.
Yeah, 3 of them now. 3 ACL tears. Jeez.
And she got Brandon Roy knees.
Wow. So then we end up getting the gauntlet elimination match. 4 minutes. Every 4 minutes, a new person comes out. You have to pin everybody or submit everybody. Everybody has to be pinned or submitted to be eliminated. It's not one fall. So starts off with Kushida and O'Reilly, and they are just basically like just doing all this great mat wrestling and trying to shoot on each other and sprawling out and getting each other's back and putting each other in submissions, getting out of it and trading submissions. It's fucking awesome. And then Bronson Reed comes out and is like, well, enough of the technical wrestling. Y'all gotta fight this big fucking mastodon.
Oh, you wrap that shit up.
Yeah. And they proceeded to, well, actually, I take it back. Like, they started doing that for like the first 4 minutes, and like with the 1 minute left before he came out, like they started like hitting each other with big ass forearms and chops and stuff. So then Reed comes out and it basically like he's basically throwing those two around. Then by the time Thatcher comes out, they spend the whole commercial break on the 4 minutes when Thatcher's finally gets into the ring. So then like when it's time to come back, they count down to like 15 seconds and then out comes Grimes. So I'm trying to remember. So remember the order correctly. The first person eliminated was, Kushida, because the rest back got turned. Velveteen came in and gave him the DVD, and then somebody mopped or pinned him after that. Got him out. Then they end up laying out O'Reilly on the top turnbuckle in one corner. Then in another corner, Bronson Reed is about to splash Thatcher. Thatcher moves as he goes for the splash, and then O'Reilly lands on top of him with a diving knee drop for the 3 on Bronson Reed. Then, so now you're in there, it's just Thatcher, O'Reilly, and Grimes. And from that point forward, it's just excellent wrestling. It's just stiff shots, people beating the fuck out of each other. So ultimately, they end up getting Grimes out the ring, and Thatcher is trying to work over O'Reilly's legs. O'Reilly escapes. He tries to go for his legs again. He escapes, slips behind him, and hits him with a schoolboy for a pin. And then it's Grimes, and it's the last 2 are Grimes and O'Reilly. And they just have a great last 5 minutes or so. And ultimately the finish is Grimes ends up on the ropes. O'Reilly's behind him. O'Reilly tries to get him off the ropes to give him a suplex. He won't let go, so he ends up letting go. It's like, fine. He grabs his knee and he gives him one of those Tanahashi dragon screw leg whips. So he goes in to grab, get up, Grimes. Grimes escapes and hits a head kick, and he sets up for the cave in, the double foot stomp. O'Reilly ducks underneath, and Grimes lands on that bad leg. O'Reilly grabs him in a rolling heel hook and gets the submission. So O'Reilly is number one contender. He's taking Finn Balor on at the next takeover on October 4th. Roddy and Cole come out and congratulate him. Balor meets him goes out to the ramp and smiles, whatever else, and that's how the show ends. I thought it was a great match. Some of the best wrestling I saw this week, and that includes the G1, or over the weekend, that includes the G1. Yeah, just really, really good stuff. Happy for O'Reilly, a person that, like, you know, always a person that brought it whenever he got opportunities, on tags or whatever else. Better promo than he's given credit for, and we'll see what he has to do. We'll see what he has, for a takeover match. But he's somebody overqualified and long past due for a singles run.
He's had like 5 total matches as a single in NXT.
Yeah. Like the last one I remember, the last
well hidden.
Say again?
I said they've kept him like well hidden away to be able to do something like this.
Yeah. One thing I will say, I think the last O'Reilly singles match that I remember was that he won anyway, was like either last year's or 2 years ago's match to see who has like the advantage for War Games. I think it was 2 years ago, because he ended up pinning I think it was Rowe he ended up beating. He ended up beating Rowe to get the advantage for Undisputed 2 years ago. But like, it's been a while. So, happy for him. Great wrestler. And like, you know, he was gone for a while because of the, you know, the pandemic and, you know, the fears of he's a diabetic, but he's back now. He's in great shape. Since he's been back, he's been a fucking destroyer of worlds in the ring. Just sharp, crisp, beat the shit out of you. So, I'm going to see what he does with Balor.
No, Balor prone to disappoint a bitch. So, Kyle, it's up to you.
Yeah. And I think the thing with, I mean, I'm sure they have some type of history. I mean, between Ring of Honor and New Japan and the time, like, I'm sure they've had some overlap where they've had interaction in the ring before. So we'll see. I think this might be. I think they're actually going to go with a face turn for Undisputed, or if not, like, they break up and he's a baby face. We'll see though. Yeah.
New match.
Yeah, definitely, and that's definitely what they need. Like, you know, like they're doing Io and Candice again, but they only did that match one time, or 2 times before, to my knowledge, to what I remember. One was on Takeover, one was on TV.
I'm not sweating that.
Yeah, and either way, that match is gonna be good anyway. Then, you know, Priest and Gargano makes sense because like the person that like blew it in the ladder match was Gargano, but you know, I figured it'd be a little bit more, but like all this is on short build. But yeah, we'll see. I like the lineup for this takeover so far more than last takeover, so there's that as well.
Yeah, man, I guess there's only one thing left to do then.
What's that?
Hit the music.
Okay, so Stardom had a show on Tuesday in Osaka. They were in Osaka for the G1 to start it off, right? They were in Osaka Indian Arena. They have that's Arena 1. It's kind of like Madison Square Garden, where like there's the big arena and there's a secondary arena. That's where Stardom was. So The third match was Jungle Kyona versus Himeka. This is a match that's like, you see Himeka the first time in Stardom, he's like, I would love to see her versus Jungle. I would love to see her versus Utami, like the power wrestlers in Stardom. At a 15-minute time limit, she starts off, she throws Jungle around, she's completely overpowering her, and then Jungle proceeds to Flair, Vader, Sting, Vader, Hogan versus any big motherfucker from the 80s throughout the whole match. She builds towards all these spots where she can't possibly lift this woman and finally lifts her. It's just great. She fights through, I think it was a back injury. She eventually gets, gets damage on Himeka's knee. She puts her in a single leg crab. There's a great near fall at the end. It's a 15-minute time limit. And Himeka kicks out at the end, and Himeka gets up and hits a big running knee, and they're both out on the floor as the bell rings. I thought it was a very good match. I think it's the best singles match I've seen from Himeka. I probably go like 3 3/4 on it. Really good stuff. It's better than anything she did in the G1 in my opinion. So like, and also given that it's 2 years, Himeka or Utami just won the Grand Prix. Like that's pretty much what they did with Utami. Like her first match, her debut match was against Jungle. They went to a time limit draw. So like had the match with Utami, lost in the final, have the match that Utami had 2 years ago. Like that might be like they're just trying to make lightning strike twice. So that was cool. The semi-main event was trios match. It was B, Natsuko, and Saki versus Momo, Utami, and Big Saya. Anytime you get Momo and Utami in trios matches, they deliver. So this is the best Oedo Tai match since Kagetsu retired. Wow. Thank God B's back. Someone that can actually work with these women.
Just for you, Zach. She came back for Zach Porter.
Oh my God! Maybe we don't need to just flat outright ban Oedo Tai and jettison them into the sun. So that's good. They had a really good match. B ended up pinning Big Sai with Kamigoye. They ended up wrestling each other at the Korakuen Hall show that was last night or yesterday. So don't know the results to any of it. The only match up is the Queen's Quest top 3 of Momo, Utami, and Uzumi versus Takumi and the two of the youngins from Marvelous. I'm not familiar with those young girls in Marvelous. The two that I know are Maria and another girl named I think it's Mio. Mm-hmm. Those two I know from seeing them on like Sealing or Oz Academy somewhere. But those two, I'm sure they're good if Takumi and Chigusa Nagaya raised them, but trained them. But we'll see.
Yeah, same thing.
Same thing. Anyway, the main event of this show was the trios titles: Donna Del Mondo, Julia, Shuri, and Micah versus Tam, Starlight Kid, and Mayu. We went over this match, or the midweek show. Great match. Ultimately, Julia ends up putting away Starlight Kid. And then after the match, there was this big brawl where Tam attacks Julia. They get pulled apart. There's a stare down between Mayu and Shuri. And then after the babyfaces leave the ring, Julia grabs a mic and they do the sign off for Donna Del Mondo. But while mentioning that, she says, like, we had a show, it got canceled because of COVID in Osaka, so we were kind of nervous coming back because we didn't know if y'all, the fans were going to be receptive to the cancellation, but we're glad that y'all are here and supporting. We also have an announcement for y'all. She tells the Twitter staff to send out the tweet. She tells the fans to go to the Twitter account of Stardom, and all of a sudden you see a bunch of people start popping, and the announcement was that Stardom on December 20th, I think it's 6 days before the year-end climax, is doing the Osaka Idion Arena where they did night 1 and 2 of the G1. Stardom is doing the big arena there, December 20th. So they have to load that show up. I don't know, because they're doing a big show on the 3rd of October. I don't know what they're going to do. And also, like, you're having a big show and then you have to do your year-end big show as well. Like, they're stacking big shows less than a week apart from each other. They have the real estate to do it because they don't really, it's mostly a tag promotion. So they'll come up with something. Like, they still have things in their back pocket. Like, I don't know if you know this, but like, WWE gave permission to Sarii to wrestle in Japan again, because she can't get over, to start, the PC life. So she's actually she's doing sealing stuff with Yoshiko right now, but she's, she can come back.
Speaking of that, I wanted to run something by you. We got a message from JML. What's up to him in our Discord? He said he finished the last show and he's trying to catch up because he missed some of the shows in the last couple of weeks. But 2 other names that come to mind as possible Donna Del Mondo members are Kairi and Sarii. Kairi coming back at the Yokohama show would be huge, but with Sarii it would be possible because she was supposed to come in earlier this year, and I don't know when she'll ever be able to come to the U.S. with the rates going up. Saori Ano would be his next guest. He doesn't.
It's pronounced sorry. Yeah. Like, you sorry, okay. Sorry. That's her. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah, I don't think the former Tokyo Joshi wrestlers would fit.
Yeah. Like, sorry is somebody that me and Zach talked about. She's in Ozaki-gun. She's the one. Yeah. She's like, she'd be like another, Stardom takes another person from Actress Girls. That's, yes. Who else did he mention? Who else did he mention from, TJP?
He didn't mention anybody else. He just primarily said Kairi and Sarii.
Yeah. Kairi, I could see Kairi coming back, but not in Donna Del Mondo. Like, it's an Invader faction, and she is like the 4th greatest Stardom wrestler of all time at worst. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you, how do I say this? It'd be like akin to like putting John Cena in some Invader faction from WWE. He's like, what? Like, literally John Cena Nexus. He's like, that makes no sense. This don't feel right. What are we doing?
John Cena and Retribution.
Oh my god. Yeah, like, I would say this. There are 2 people, that are going to reveal themselves at that Yokohama show on October 3rd. Like, one of them, like, I can see Sariano being in it. It makes sense. But the other person, it could be anybody. It could be Kairi. I know that the next day they have that show where they're going to have Mayu and Jungle tagging together. On that same show, Tam is wrestling the second person that's coming back or debuting or whatever the hell. So they do Tam versus
I got
Kairi.
her name.
Who?
Arisa. Bring her back.
If she want to come back, good. Why not? Look, you won't want to see, let's see, Arisa versus Shuri. That'd be great.
Oh yeah. I love that match.
Yeah.
Also, she would avoid wrestling Julia, so she don't have to lose to her, and remain spotless.
I mean, also another part is like earlier in the year before she retired, they were teasing Mayu versus Arisa for a double championship match. So, like, when we talk about all these big matches that were at play, I don't know if she'd come back. I don't know if she can come back, but, like, if that'd be a match if it was available, that'd be a match I'd be looking to try to get on the docket. But there's also with Sarii, like, that match they got turned to the Takumi match. There's also the return Takumi match eventually that they're going to get as well. Like, in Mayu and Takumi have been talking about it on Twitter. So, I know that's definitely happened, but as far as the other things they need to do to like fill out these shows, we'll see. I feel like with the Marvelous trios, like that opens the gateway for a match right there. So yeah. But that's really all I had to give us those matches, and then like they had a Korakuen Hall yesterday. So when those matches get out, we'll review them next week or whatever else. Next Sunday. So yeah.
I guess we wrapped this whole up.
Yep.
Marathon episode here.
Yeah. 3.5 hours. It's probably gonna be less once I edit it down, like the first 5 minutes of this thing where your audio just like refused to cooperate for some weird reason.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm looking at just the star ratings for the last day of the G1. It looks like I was right about White and Okada needing to go on third rather than last.
Come on, man, we knew that.
Like big time. Right.
And the thing is, like, Jay White was in the main event of the second A Block show, and like once, I'm trying to think, what was the second match? I think it was can't remember. There was a match.
Him and Ibushi.
Yeah, and there was a match on before that was like that smoked, and I was like, oh, that doesn't have a chance. Doesn't have a chance. Because Jay White's he's going to wrestle well. Either he's going to give you a bad match where he doesn't want to wrestle at all, and then you're just mad, or he'll give you a match where he gives you, like, if he wrestles well and then he wants to, make a great meal and throw water on it at the end. Like, that's his thing. This is always his thing. But yeah, anyway, that's in the show. Be sure to rate us on whatever app you're listening to. Tell the folks about the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Be sure to visit ProWrestlingTees.com/Social Suplex and pick up some official Social Suplex Podcast Network merchandise. Also be sure to check out the other shows on the network. On Sundays, we have the show on Nation Radio. On Tuesdays, we have Keepin It Strong Style. On Wednesdays, we have the Ricky Clive Wrestling Podcast. On every other Wednesday, we have Gonna Watch This Shit. On Thursdays, we have the Grave Consequences Podcast. On Fridays, we have 8-Bit Suplex. And on Saturdays, we have All Things Elite. Thanks for listening, y'all.
Holla.
Later.